winner. So 2 wins, 1 loss, ended up netting a couple dollars. Well, to the downside, I ended up losing $200. But on the day, overall was like, portfolio was fine. It was just didn't have a day trading win. So let's tackle that again today. But losing 200 is certainly manageable. So I'm going to delete some chart alarms, get some levels today. Market has been up all week. I mean, not even a down day. We came back and tapped the Friday close, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday gap higher, pullback Thursday, all day grind. We had I did have a fortunate close here at price dropping below 90 at the end of the day. Big call wall today at 6,600 right here. So hopefully we are opening up right around current price. I'm going to try to sell nice and high and just focus on price being slow or possibly open space to the downside. Again, price may not be falling a lot today. I just think we are nearing, some pretty key resistance. So even if I'm going to carry this over into Monday, I'm looking at trades either for a, today expiration, Monday expiration, trying to sell nice and high and see what that looks like for our morning session. Okay. Let me bring up. So we had a 2-day masterclass this week for daily profit play inside the classroom that should be posted here. I know one class was. We'll get the other one posted hopefully today with that processing. But overall, had some good feedback. A lot of happy traders. I asked, rate the class from 0 to 10. I had lots of 9s, 10s, and 15s from what I saw. Okay. Let's see here. Call spreads. We'll see what they look like. Yeah, we'll see what they look like. All right, let me get into the classroom here. I'm probably looking at some broken wing butterfly spreads again if I can get filled for $1. I like having that kind of profit trap. So even like today, I think a broken wing is a pretty good setup. I think Monday's a pretty good setup as long as price is, cooperating for us. So we will go daily profit play. And in here under your masterclass recordings, this was class from Wednesday. I will have yesterday's class posted as well. We had lots of good notes. And I think yesterday's class was pretty long. We ended up going for almost 2 hours, but lots to teach. And we had a lot of new students. So good to kind of get the whole strategy out there, core strategy. And also, I posted inside of Telegram for my daily profit play members this core strategy video. This is about a 30-minute video to go on top of your masterclass. These are some of the other strategies that we have sprinkled in over the course of this alert service. So, for example, I'm not just a one-trick pony. It is very easy mechanical. I showed all the data 3 years running. What are the best days of trading for the week? If you just want to stick to, I show up every morning, I take this trade. That's easy. That's our core strategy. Okay. If I, as your instructor, as the trader here, wants to also have a little discretion, sometimes I am, like you're going to see today, possibly just focused on selling high and thinking there's a high probability that that trade's going to be okay. I accept the risk, but I'm going to try to do my best to give us a 1 or 2 winner trade for like today and for Monday. I think 66 hopefully holds some resistance. I don't think that we front run the Fed. We've already been doing it. So, I mean, again, I guess I shouldn't be surprised if the market is higher into the Fed. But coming into the Fed rate decision, it wouldn't surprise me if the market is, trying to make a peak. And after the Fed, the market finally starts to cooperate with the corrections that I've been looking for. So my corrections, like waterfall income, we have a trade that I want price to stay below 66.40 by the end of September. I still think that trade is valid. I really do. So if we have a pushback down to this 50-day moving average, that trade is going to be in full profit for $2.30. I do have a debit set on that at $2 to protect most of the profit, but either this, today's going to be an interesting day to see, like, does it just stay green? Do we have more green today? Do we give some back? I looked at this potentially as I think I did either a weekly or a monthly, not the weekly. Monthly, nope. I thought maybe the weekly candle could give us an evening star. I guess it was monthly. Maybe the month, something like this. So if this was a decisional August to a thus far decisional September, I wonder if you can do this. Let me take this for a second. And what happens if price all of a sudden, it's a little thicker. If price all of a sudden by the end of the month just has a tiny little green body, right? And it has a long, ah, has a long indecision candle like that, right? So it's May, June, July, August, September, but we fade back down by the end of the month. It might still cling to some positivity for September. Maybe it gives it back. I don't know. But if September looks something like this, between September, October, I would imagine we'd have some form of sideways or red to at least get a pullback. That's it. Just a little pullback. And then I'm looking at position for some dips. All right. But so far the month is running hot and we're up, 2.9% for the month of September. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the best September starts we have ever had, like at least in the last 5 or 10 years, possibly ever. I don't know. I'll probably read about it in a newsletter that I subscribe to or maybe find out on one of the podcasts I listen to. So the melt up continues. That is for sure. VIX at 14.73. Again, futures flat. We will see if there's going to be red on the day or futures going to continue to grind higher. We've got opening bell in about 18 minutes. So we got some prep time. Let's get our VIX going. So let me see if this will update based on previous close, which it should. Okay. So that would be should be adjusting when we have live market price based on yesterday's close. I'm going to go up to this level. So VIX at 1473 should be around like a 0.9% move. 1473. So 0.92. Okay, 66.45. 66.50. Okay, and that's potential top. I don't think we're going to go that high today. In fact, I think these call walls probably do their thing. Plus or minus on the day shouldn't be more than like 30 points. And potential bottom on the day. Let's do our 0.92 from the previous day's close. Uh, 65.25. All right, so 25 down here, 45 to 50 up here. Most likely, I would imagine not reaching either level for a Friday unless we don't really have any major catalysts today. We had the PPI news on Wednesday, CPI news on Thursday. Here is a look at your inflation readings for the week. Okay, so we're going to go to inflation data, year over year, PPI, CPI, trending higher. Okay. Now, if we go back a little bit farther, see how far I can go back. Let's go there. So this gets us back to 2022, right? We had our big peak at 9+% inflation. We've come all the way down here to 3%. And, this target inflation rate, this is really what's been adjusted. Through Jackson Hole, it wasn't explicitly said, but the Fed, if you read between the lines, has mentioned that this is probably the new window for inflation, which is why the probability of a rate cut is so high going into next week. So has inflation improved? Not really. Has inflation gone down? Well, from the peak in 2022, yes. Has it been contained? Has it returned to the target inflation rate? No. But it also hasn't gone, back up to 4% or 5%. Now, obviously, depends on the readings. I think some of us could question where they're measuring their inflation because if it's a measurement of all things, I think there's a better reading than what the government has given us and what these, forex or the forex factor calendars, the Bloomberg calendars, what they're giving us as far as like core CPI and super core CPI and headline CPI. If you go to this website here, trueflation.com, there's a US index. So let's see here. All indexes, the true inflation US inflation index, we're just over 2%. Okay. So when I look at this, if we were trending aggressively higher, I would be concerned like, yeah, we actually have trending higher inflation. This is a measurement of way more things than what the government has given us data wise. So when we were up here, I wasn't surprised that we saw some elevated levels where we came down to 2.3, went up to 2.9, came back down again to 2.3. We've been kind of stuck here for the last couple of months. So unless this starts to tick aggressively higher, which it might in the coming months because the PMI is going higher. So it's very possible that we do have higher inflation. It's very possible that headline CPI gets over 3%, right? We're at 2.9 as forecasted. I also wouldn't be surprised that we're seeing these forecasts that it's like suppressed government numbers. It's like, we're going to go from 2.9 to 3.0. We've got it under control. 3% to 3.1. We got it under control. It's not going to be a real measurement. So if I see this, spiking higher, then I don't think we're getting a clean picture. But if it's just slow and steady, it's not going to matter. The markets don't care. And honestly, the best way to combat inflation is to be an investor, to own assets. So if everyone's worried about inflation, if you're playing the game in the investment world, things are going to go higher. Whether you think they're going to crash or not, whether sentiment's so bad, the bears are ultimately going to be right. I think you've got to give this market all the credit in the world for being resilient, reflexive, and even in a downturn, guess who's going to save it? Trump's going to have Trump's narrative, Besant's narrative, everyone that's in the government right now that's making all the financial headlines and celebrating all-time highs. Even the Fed is pivoting to more, okay, they recognize that the labor market is slowing, but they're not going to deviate from having a monetary policy now starting to align with fiscal policy. That plan is happening. And this is what the market's been sniffing out. This is why the market's been running to all-time highs. Okay. All right. Consumer confidence at 10, sentiment at 10. I mean, sentiment's terrible. Sentiment's terrible. I don't see this being a good reading at all. Okay. But who cares? Sentiment, you're wrong. Look at this. AAII sentiment. 49.5% bearish sentiment. This is how everybody feels out there. Well, you can feel as bearish as you want while we're going up to all-time highs. You can feel as bearish as you want. I'm watching my portfolio go to year-to-date highs. This is a $17,000 jump today. I took a screenshot yesterday. I was like 502, 503. It's like I'm cross 518. I want to see more. And I'm not even participating. I'm not actively buying these highs. I'm like waiting on dips, but I've positioned from April onwards, May onwards, put my trades out of the way. Everyone in my services, Project Options Edge, we have lots of trades running right now. Waterfall Income, lots of trades running right now. So we just keep participating. Obviously, I don't want the market to fall apart. But having, hedges out there, it's like I'm sacrificing 0.25% or 0.5% for a 20 to 1 payout, 30 to 1 payout, 40 to 1 payout. I don't need those hedges. I certainly don't hope that I have to cash in on them. But until then, I'd love to see this market just keep grinding. But I think a pullback is necessary and needed, or else we're, almost breaking technicals. And that's what's been driving me crazy is I think that we have to hit some technicals here. 90 plus bars since we crossed this 50-day moving average. That is a lot. This might be one of the longest stretches on record. Okay. Let's see here. Stocks hit another all-time high. Okay. Get this here. Investors cheer the same macro story. U.S. financial markets have a Groundhog Day quality to them right now. Equity seeing the land at record highs. CPI rose as expected. Jobless claims jumped. I mean, we know the Fed's going to cut. It's pretty much baked in, priced in. It's like 90 plus percent. I'm not sure how the 50 basis points cut is popping up on the calendar, but it's very slim. So, I wouldn't put this as like, oh, they might cut 50. They're not going to surprise us. If this is 92.5% and this is the majority going into next Wednesday, it's going to be a 25 basis points cut. So, the market got a little excited thinking they might cut 50. They're not going to cut 50. If this is the highest probability, they're going to cut 25 basis points. Okay. But going out, cutting in September, now an 80% chance they cut in October and a 74% chance they cut in December. 1, 2, 3 cuts. Okay. 4, 5, 6 cuts. This has been forecasted for months now. But it seems like they're kind of jumping in aggressively versus jumping to 50 basis points right away, jumping to 50 to 100 right away. And, there's compelling arguments for both. I've heard arguments like, look, the Fed doesn't have to show they're in the wrong. They can just show like, look, we acknowledge that things accelerated faster than we thought. So we're going to do this. And I mean, they don't have to admit that they were wrong in miscalculating policy and waiting too long, right? So anyway, um, should be good. Give me 1 second. My sister just texted me. She is flying from New York today to come to see us out here in Utah. So make sure she's good to go. All right. Does that make sense on the whole, just where this market's been going, why the market refuses to go down, and probably how this market's going to be post-Fed correction? I posted a video yesterday inside Telegram as well. Um, I did like a 20-minute video on TradingView, posted out for YouTube and Twitter, threw it in Telegram for us. But look, I shouldn't be upset. And as I said here, I'm really not, because I'm still making, year-to-date highs. But technically, it has been frustrating to watch, especially like Thursday this week, Thursday last week. Grind, 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 grind. Beyond measured moves, beyond the market makers expected high, beyond 100% ATR. That is frustrating. Days like that do bother me, because I'm in here every day trying to put a probable guardrail on the market. You know, so yes, in the background, I have medium term, long term positions running, and they're gaining. That's fine. But as far as like my day trade, I don't like to lose. So yesterday was a negative $200, and I didn't love it, but I still was up at like $750 for the day. Now, here's what I'm looking at: 50-day moving average is now over 90 bars from price. I could see price actually melted up into a crescendo or peak pre, during, or post FOMC, and then fading lower after the Fed. That means to be Fed. This is Fed. Oh wait, no, 2.5. I got it right. What am I talking about? Have some faith in your English skills. After, to find some technical levels that I've been eyeing for a few weeks. Okay, that would be that 50-day, the previous all-time highs. Okay, so enjoying the melt up, but just be ready for some action and volatility in all the major assets. Indexes will be moving, therefore gold will be moving. Silver and gold having stellar years this year. I think there's going to be some alterations and some volatility shaking them up here the next maybe 30 to 60 days. Bitcoin, which is steadily come off of those like 110 lows, but possibly risk appetite, we'll see. And then bond and yields. We had a huge run in the bond market this week. I did actually close out my TLT. So I ended up getting I had a 65 by 89 diagonal spread. So I bought a 2027 call at $65, which was deep in the money. And all I've been doing for the last 12 months is selling calls against it, selling calls against it. So basically a $25 to $30 max position has been written down to a debit of around $18. So 65 plus 18. is $83. And I was looking to see prices up to 89.90 today. So I called it at $6 a share, roughly. So I had an $18 minus 23.10. I made 510 per contract. I was in about 25 contracts total. So around 13K on TLT. Um, I'm taking that profit and I'm just sitting on it. It's helping me have some cash. I will then allocate to indexes. I will allocate to gold. I'll allocate to silver. I still like those trades. I'll allocate more to Bitcoin. The reason I want to be out of bonds, and this is nothing against bonds. Some bond investors are some of the smartest people I know. I just hate the asset. I think if anything has a outlier type risk, it would be, the reliability, the resiliency, the reliance on US debt and this overall debt bubble that at some point will matter. I think, if the global economy is going to thread the needle, somehow we have the ability to bring yields down without having a recession. And I don't know how that happens right now. I don't. So I think the big surprise that could be unpleasant for investors would be watching the Fed cut next week and watching this chart, US 10-year yields, not go lower. If the Fed cuts and it does what it did in 2024, which is, this is 2024 when the Fed cut by 100 basis points, yields went up 117 basis points. So we've been moving lower on the 10-year yield. What happens next week and after at this point, right? Do bond yields go back up again? Do they continue to go lower? I don't know. But if they go lower, that's going to feel fine. Yields go high, or yields go lower, bonds go up. That's okay. But also, is that signaling something more ominous? If bonds are going up, is that a safe haven bid, or is that just a catch-up trade in the bonds? I don't know. But if yields go up, that's going to show every person that wants to buy a house, every person that wants to refinance debt, every person that wants to, do anything with borrowing is going to realize nothing is cheaper. Okay. And so it's going to be interesting to watch. The Russell's had a great run these last couple months. It's been a big catch-up trade. It's been outperforming the S&P and the NASDAQ. The Russell's almost back up to all-time highs. Is going to continue to do that. I hope it does. I think small caps are a great trade. In fact, I measured the Russell for potentially like another 23% upside over the next maybe a year or two. But I think it all hinges on this little chart here. Because if it's a playbook from last year, which was the first time in 40 years that we've had such an aggressive cut cycle, 100 basis points, and the yield market did the exact opposite, that's the first time that's broken trend. Usually when the Fed is cutting and they continue to cut, the yields will go lower. Now, maybe the difference is this time we're cutting and going to continue to cut, but we cut 100 basis points. And this time around, we're going to cut like 125 to 150 basis points. So I don't know if the market's going to continue to see like that as sustained levels to lower yields, but that is really my big question mark for how the markets kind of treat this Fed cut cycle. They've been loving the idea that it's coming, but now it's, that classic buy the rumor, sell the news. Is it going to create kind of the top in the near term? Maybe. So I'm just saying, I just want to be ready. Just want to be ready. That's all. Okay. Daily profit video. We'll get that posted. Deanna knows. I think it's processing Zoom. So the classroom should have yesterday's recording up probably later on today. Okay. All right. We have just 1 minute before. Let's take a look at market maker levels for the day. We're going to go SPX 10-7 IV rank plus or minus on the day for the 12th. Looking at about 23 points. Okay, so we'll flip this around. I'm going to probably end up using a butterfly. So if I maybe consider like the buy, sell, buy, something like this, we'll talk through the numbers. Okay, so let's see where price is at. We're at 65.90. Let these deltas settle back in. 10 and 15. I've got a pretty good call wall at 6,600 right in here. So let's see if I can sell nice and high today. I've got a couple bear call spreads already running. Let's see if I can get a 10, 15, 25. So that's a butterfly that only gives me 10 cents, 5 cents. Ugh, that's a horrible setup right now. Let's see what just a bear call spread does. So here, 30 cents on that bear call. Okay. So I'm going to do a 15 by 20 for $1. I'm going to sell the 15, buy the 20. That's a bear call spread for $1. That'll just be a pending order since it's not offering that credit right now. So pending order 66.15 sell call, going 5 wide at a 66.20. I'll put this in the chat. Okay. Pending order. Today is the 12th. $66.20 call, $1 credit. Pending. Okay, if I do the, let's see here, buy, sell, buy. I think this is okay for a broken wing. That's a 22 delta at the 66.05. That's still a little high. That's a little higher than I'd like it to be. So I think I'm going to look at a broken wing and offer that profit trap today. If I go 66.10, 15 by 30, right now that's only offering 5 cents. I'm going to put this in for $1. So this is going to be a pending order for broken wing today as well. Put this in for $1. It might not get filled. Price has to come up to like 6,600, 6,605, 6,610. This might get filled, but this is trading at an 8 delta. So probability should be market makers, exceeded the 100% ATR yesterday. They nearly got up to the VIX high yesterday based on the previous day's close. So I'm going to put this in for $1 and see if it gets filled. I'll throw this in Telegram as well. So pending order, SPX, 9/12 expiration. I am buying the 66.10, selling the 66.15, and buying the 66.30 for $1 credit. Okay, a standard daily profit play, 66.05 by 66.10, and I like the 55 by 50. It's not a bad trade. I'm going to take this trade. So 66.05 and 10 by 55 and 50 for $1. Hopefully 10 or 15. 20 is getting filled here. Let's try $1.15. So 115 pending. Working on it. I think I'm just going to go maybe to $1.10 should fill if I... Okay, I just got filled at 115. All right, so trades in. I've got one trade in. Okay, so new trade. Typing this in Telegram right now. Standard DPP trade. SPX 9/12 expiration. Okay, I'm going to go after 115. Let's go after an 80-cent debit. Looking to close at, let's go 80 debit. Okay. All right, trades are in. I've got one trade in, 2 trades pending, and I'm still working with a couple of bear call spreads from yesterday. Let me just walk you through some of the trades we've got open. So this is my daily profit play right here. SPX 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. Oops, where'd they go? That is a waterfall. Strategy 2, and then daily profit play today. Set a take profit at, go 80 cents debit. So trade is in, take profit is set. That job is done for the day. Now let price do price and let market makers be market makers. A couple other orders that I have running. Bear call spread, the 66.05 by 10, the 66.15 by 20. Right now, that's up 75 out of the max dollar. This one's up 30 out of the max dollar. Broken Wing. This one's out to the 19th, which is next Friday. This one's out to the October 3rd one. That's the 6640 pin for next Friday. That's the 6700 for the end of the month. And I've got some waterfalls as well. So hopefully, if we stay below 6605 or 10 today, 15 and 20, that's another couple $100 I can pull in today. Okay, so we'll have a pretty busy Friday. I want to take a look at one thing really quickly for today. If we can go 10, 15, 20, let me look at Monday's trades. I might look at a broken wing for Monday. So let this kind of marinate over the weekend. Over the weekends, maybe getting like the 20, 25, 30 zone. If I can do a 25, 30 by 45. Okay. I would take this trade at a 10 delta for $1. So I'm going to try to sprinkle in a couple of these. This will be for $1 pending. Let me see if I can lower this by one strike. So trading for 55 right now. That's a 13 delta pin. I'll go a little bit higher. Okay. So this is trading for 40 cents. I'm going to put it in for $1. So that's a 25 by 30. And I'll sprinkle in the other ones as well. So that's $1. Okay, I'll put that in, and then a 35 by 40 and 55. This one also for $1 pending. Okay, so a couple more pending orders coming in. I'll put a summary in Telegram. So pending order for Monday expiration. This is going in Telegram right now. I'm looking at 2 broken wing butterflies, which right now is around the 30, which is a 9 delta, and a 40, which is a 6 delta. 66, 30 is a 9 delta position now, and 6640 is a 6 delta position now. So I'm giving the market room to drift. Pending orders coming in hot. SPX 915 expiration, which is Monday. Buying the 6625 call. Selling the 6630 call. And buying the 6645 call. Dollar credit pending. $66.35. So I make sure these are no overlaps. $66.40. And buy the $66.55 for dollar credit pending. Okay, so those orders are in. Yeah, I'll put those in. I'll put those in. So pending orders right here. This one is, let's see here, 12th pending for today. Pending. I'll take a screenshot of all of these. So working orders. What is this one here? Put, call, September 12th. Why is that? Oh, I didn't get filled yesterday. Okay, I didn't cancel that. Good. I'm going to cancel that order. That was reverse iron condor. So this one is waterfall. This is fine. This is out to the end of the month. I'm going to take a screenshot of these pending orders. So all of these right here. So SPX pending. I'll put this in Telegram right now. So here's a list of my pending orders. I'll put this in Telegram for the daily Profit Play members. Pending orders in my broker platform. There you go. Okay, so it'll be a fairly active morning. Price is at 65.85. So I should be seeing some profit rolling in on those bear call spreads. So right here, this one's up $37. This one's up 80. I don't really want to sit on this all day. I'm going to see if I can just close this one down for $10. So let's go a 10 debit on this one for $90 out of max $1. And if this one is up 30 bucks, that's a 05. I might just take 50 on this one and move on. Let's try a 50-cent debit on this one. Even though I mean, 05 right now is a 15 delta. I think the safe thing is just to get it at 50 and take the profit. So I'll take a 50 center there, see if those close out for winners. So if that's the case, it'd be 140 bucks on the day. And then we still have pending orders to see if they get filled. Yep. The pending orders for today conflicting. No, I'm taking them in the same account. So if they're conflicting, you might like double up on the contracts, but just sort that. I mean, when I close an order, so look, here's the summary for today. What I have running is I have let's see here. So I have a 6605 by 6610 and a 6555 by 6550. So I have this trade running today. That's a standard DPP. So that's running both sides of the trade. On top of that, I have a bear call, which is a 6605 by 6610. That was filled for $1. I have a 6615 by 6620 for $1. Those are both looking good for full profit today. I'm going to try to close for a 10-cent debit. I'm going to try to close this one for a 50-cent debit. So if I can turn this one, I'm looking for a 35 to 40-cent winner on the daily profit play. And then the bear call, I'm trying to make 50% and 90% winners based on the strikes and based on the deltas. So I just have to keep it organized in my broker platform. If this is one contract, well, this is still one contract. So when I close this out together, I'm just going to close out the one contract spread and then keep the other contract separate. Right? So it's not conflicting. It's just I'm overlapping, but one is going to be for my daily profit play and one is separate for a bear call spread. Yep. So again, if you're new, it's okay. Look, this is what day trading can feel like. It can be very fast paced. I'm not trying to make it that way, but here's the best thing. If you are interested in getting some of these trades, then you want to be in my daily profit play service. Okay. You will have one of the most accelerated learning curves that I can provide by getting you into class. And you have 2 master classes we just did this week. We had 2 great master classes on Wednesday, Thursday. The recordings are in your classroom. And then you can jump in and trade with me every single day. In fact, you get access to Telegram. Here is an even faster way to get up to speed. You jump into my daily profit play service. And inside of your Telegram, I will post this again today because if I have some new members that join me, here is a core strategy video review. It is a 30-minute video that I put together that has all of the different strategies that I take during this service. Okay, here's an example. I have a strategy that will basically guardrail price. So if price doesn't go high or low, we make money. Okay, I will have a trade that guardrails the highs only. I will have a trade that will guardrail the bottoms only. I will have a trade that has, the guardrails, but also has a potential profit trap, has the guardrails down here with a potential profit trap. I'll have a trade that also is in the middle. As long as price moves one way or the other, we want price to go directional. So we take a little trade that offers us profit up and profit down. And as long as it doesn't go nowhere, we make money. So literally, on just a few strategies, whether the market is going nowhere for the day, range bound for the day, up a little bit, up a lot, down a little bit, down a lot, or nowhere, we're going to try to put on some strategies to help us make some money. Okay. So to me, this is the most dynamic way to trade. This is not intended to be a one-trick pony service. I think that's too simple. I think simple is great. I'm not gonna crap on simple, but there are some days where we know with major news and we know with major flows of the week, like it's not going to go sideways forever. And I'm not saying that's an intuition. I'm not saying that we know for a fact, but yesterday the market exceeded a 100% ATR, and my thoughts were coming into today that we're going to not do that again. Okay. So even going to this 50% ATR, I think would be a hard stretch considering we were at like 125 plus yesterday and we nearly hit the VIX high. Okay. So I'm saying all these things. I'm just saying it all makes sense. I just hit profit on that first bear call spread, by the way. So bear call spread is winner number 1. that was taken yesterday. That was a 66.05 by 10. That was worth $50. So that's a nice little winner. And then this trade is the 15 by 20. It's up $80. I've got the debit set at 10 right now. Okay, it's trading for 18. I'm going to try to get it down maybe 50. I'm going to try to take it down to 10 cents, but that might take a little bit longer. Maybe price has to drop a little bit longer. But that 66.15 right now, delta wise, is a 7 delta. I have a 93% chance that price is in profit by the end of the day. Right? You see that right here? This 93%. There's a 93% chance that price stays out of the money and keeps me in profit. So this full dollar can be realized by the end of the day with a 93% probability. Now that can clearly change if price starts to go higher. Okay. But I'm going to see if time continues to help me with this decay. And if I can pull this thing out for 10 cents, that means I'm making 90 cents out of my max dollar and I don't have to sit and wait all day. But probability profit's pretty high. If this knocks me out for 10 cents, it's up to 85 out of 90 right now. Max profit would be $1, but I have to hold that to the end of the day. So if I can grab these two winners right here, I'll be pretty happy. Okay. The two spreads expire on Monday. Should we see profit on those? We should. You just need to stay below what prices, Bill? What's your sell call levels? You need to see price stay below that sell call, right? Yeah. What's 300? It's like 66.05, 66.15, right? The sell call levels where we need to stay below. Okay. Oh, you got filled for $3. Okay, good. Wow. So yeah, good. Yep. That was it. That was a 10 wide $3 fill. That was 1/3 of the width. Just under that. So I thought that was a good mechanical trade. And if you want to manage that partially, if you're up $100, $150, you're not going to hurt my feelings to take the profit. So we got a couple of those trades we can manage as well. All right. Waterfall's looking good. I had a waterfall income trade close out yesterday for IWM. Here. So I had the January of 2026 was a 220 by 225. Took the debit for 288, closed it out for 388, made a 35% winner there. That was a quick $100. We have more waterfalls running, still up another $150 on IWM. Let's see here. I'm just going to go back and spot check my SPX, make sure things are looking good. Check our price action here. So this trade is trading for 80 cents. Or I guess trading for 20 cents debit. I'm up $80 right now. I'm trying to see if this will close out for $90 profit. So my exit is set at 10 cents and I'll take a majority of that. And then I have pending orders that haven't been filled yet. This one is the 25 by 30, 15 by 20. Those are still pending. The broken wing, that's for today. That still hasn't filled. Broken wing for Monday hasn't filled. Broken wing for Monday hasn't filled. And there's my bear call trade. So, today I've got one daily profit play running, two bear call spreads looking good for profit, and then some trades running for Monday. We'll see if they get filled. I'll update Telegram if that's the case. All right. So price is going to do what price does best. We'll see what happens. Ideally, I'd like to see if price can stay, below 6,600 today and not go up to 66, 20, 30, 40 on Monday. Okay. Hopefully based on yesterday's Thursday push and above the ATRs that we just kind of stall here for the day. And it's just a big calm before the storm as we come into FOMC next week. Okay. Charles, are you a member of Daily Profit Play? Not this free session. If you're a member of the service, it should be Daily Profit Play Alerts right here. Daily Profit Play Alerts with Chris Pulver. That is the actual member feed. That's all my trades. Okay. So that the access to that is in your classroom. It's just a one-click link for Telegram. News at 10. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, what's our 10 o'clock news sentiment? I mean, this is so biased. Here's inflation expectations. We'll take a look at it. Comes out in 10 minutes. I mean, U of M sentiment is, let's look at the chart here. I mean, we have some of the ugliest sentiment readings that we have seen since, I mean, look at this. Pretty much since the bear market in 2022, we're just off those sentiment lows. I mean, even during COVID, the market wasn't this pessimistic. So the readings are pretty bad. Inflation expectations. I'm imagining that they're going to be even higher. I mean, this is a ridiculous rip. Like, oh, April, May, we're going to 7% expectations. I mean, really? How far out? I have no idea. So I don't know how far these projections go out. It's high impact, but I don't know if it's going to matter. I think to the way it's priced in. Remember, one thing about options is market makers. It's their job to price this stuff in. So whatever the market has on the calendar, it's priced in. Next week's Fed, it's priced in. You know, this week's CPI, it was priced in. It still exceeded. It was one of those days where 0 day wasn't good, but I bet market makers rolled their crap over to today, and they'll have a very mechanical guardrail type day today. Right? If the market starts to roll over, it's been overdue for weeks. So I'm just bracing for that potential, 3, 5, 6% correction. And I don't know how it happens. It's like we either just roll over first and we have like a sustained downtrend for maybe a few weeks, or we just push higher and we just kind of hit a peak and apex and crescendo and capitulation, and then we fade after that. But I would be very, very shocked technically if the market is not a little lower by the end of September. If the market is not a little lower through September, October, just to have some type of normal technical correction. Okay. All right. So what else is going on? So we got the news coming up in a few minutes, 7 minutes and change. We'll see what it does. I mean, is it going to be a big impact? Probably not. Where's price at today? Price is a little slower. What's futures at today? It's a little flat. So unless futures gets a big bump at 10 o'clock, we might just roll over a little bit and just kind of finish. Look, the week has been a heck of a week. The market is up. Okay. The market is up 1.68% for the week. I mean, could we push up and have a 2% week? Sure. Anything's possible. If we push up to 2%, that puts us up to around 66.13. Okay. But if the market just kind of stays here for the day, we still have a 1.5, 1.6% week. That's still hitting all-time highs, record highs. We also had 5 winning days in a row, right? This is a green candle. This is a green candle. Even though this was a up-down day, it was still higher than the previous day, which is still a green day. So gain and gain and gain and gain. We have 4 days in a row. Not saying the market can't do 5 in a row, but it's pretty rare. Okay. So we have closed higher every day this week. So let's go Monday. Okay. Monday indecision, but closed higher Tuesday. Also, it closed higher from Friday's close to Monday. So Friday's close, Monday's close higher. Tuesday's close higher. Wednesday's close higher. Thursday's close higher. They can do the same thing. Maybe. But I'm a little doubtful. I think it's going to be a choppy day. I think it's perfect for daily profit play, which we already have the trade in. Okay. So look, if anybody's interested, let me go notepad here. If anybody's interested, we spent a lot of time yesterday doing a lot of examples. So I don't mind sharing this with the whole group. This isn't any type of magic sauce and stuff that I can't just save this from members. Here is a lesson for everybody. Okay. Daily profit play is essentially take advantage of what market makers do every single day. Now, market makers' job is to do the same thing every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. They have expected calculations on where the market should and shouldn't go. It shouldn't go too high, shouldn't go too low. The reason why is because they are selling to buyers. People want to buy options. People want to buy and speculate on direction. What do market makers do? They take those speculations and they are the opposing party. So you want to buy a call, they're going to sell a call. What do they base it on? The expected move. Based on the current volatility, market should only move so high, so low. And it's not surprising that sometimes, here's what happens. Let's say we go out in a day, okay? In a day. This is just a good visual representation, okay? So every single, and I'll draw this one time, and it was the same thing every day, every week, every quarter, or every month, every quarter, every year. It's the same concept, all right? Now, in a 0-day environment, there's a little wrinkle to it because obviously in a 0-day, there's no backup plan. If you're wrong today, you're just going to accept the wrong and move to tomorrow. At least that's what we do as retail traders. Market makers will roll that risk over to the next day, okay? Because they can, and they also will manipulate the highs and lows the next day to make sure that they're going to come back in proper sizing and get their money. Okay. So basically it's this. If the market opens, market opens and you want to look at prices. So let's look at daily expirations, or you can look at weekly expirations. You can look at monthly expirations, monthly or quarterly or yearly. Okay, everybody follow me? So daily expectations or expirations, you're looking at a price that, let's say this is the opening bell. So the market opens right here. Market makers have all these expirations running. They have dailies for today. They have every day this week. They have the weekly expiration on Fridays. They have the monthlies, which is the third Friday of every single month. They've got the quarterlies. So we're having one September 30th, which is a Tuesday this month. And then we have the yearlies. Literally every expiration you see right now, that's a day out, a week out, a month out, a quarter out, yearly out. It's based on today's volatility and where the market makers expect things to go. So we have a market maker move. Okay, market maker move is the expected plus minus for the asset. And it's the plus minus move for the asset over a certain period of time. So when the market opens, there is a market maker move that is calculated for the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. Now that's going to look something like this. An expected high or low, let's say this daily expectation is like a plus or minus 20. Okay, so the market should stay maybe 20 points higher, 20 points lower. The weekly might be 50 points higher or lower. Okay, the monthly might be 100 points higher or lower. The quarterly might be 150 points higher or lower. The yearly could be 300, 400 points. It doesn't matter. But what this is telling us is that market makers every single day or week or month or quarter or yearly, based on current volatility and what the underlying assets volatility is, it should be within this range. And so what happens, what happens is price for the day should stay inside this range. If it doesn't, it usually rolls over to the next day. And this is rare. This is what we experience when we have like 9 winning trades, 1 losing trade. It's the 1 losing trade that doesn't keep it contained for the day. Okay. Yesterday was one of those days where the market went up, exceeded the market maker plus or minus move. It exceeded 100% ATR. That shouldn't be the case, but it did. And today is probably going to be a normal day where everything's back contained into the range. Okay. So what happens is there's not a lot of wiggle room here to roll risk other than a day or so with market makers. Weekly expirations. Okay, let's say the market started low for the week. It goes high like we did here. We started low for the week and we just been going higher all week. So if this reaches too high of a range, there might be a way for the market makers to close out, either pushing prices back lower to kind of get back to the levels for the week, or they are going to be hedging all week and roll it out to the next week. Okay. But usually they will keep prices contained within that box. Monthly, now we're talking a lot more wiggle room. Okay. You see this a lot for monthlies, like month-to-month expirations. We will see prices go way beyond this level. And then by the end of that next month, it's back down here. We can see prices for the next month do absolutely nothing, but it stays inside that expected range. Okay, quarterlies, same thing, just on a bigger time frame. For the entire quarter, I mean, look, we've had this entire quarter going into September 30th. That would be September, August, and July. What have those 3 months done? They've gone straight up. So would I be surprised that the market's gone straight up for the quarter and it maybe is at the top of that range or possibly higher, but it closes back within it? How many of you think by the end of September, we're going to be sitting at the highs for the month and at the highs for the quarter? I would be shocked. I would be shocked. And for a year, why do you think the market only averages about 6 to 7, 8% a year? Because market makers have to do this. Now, yes, the market can go up and these can be adjusted. There could be hedges and there could be flows. But for the most part, month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year, this is where all the big time expirations are going. JP Morgan has hundreds of billions of dollars, okay, that when they're putting out collar trades, they do this every quarter, and it's anywhere between a 10 delta and a 20 delta call and a 10 delta, 20 delta put. That allows pretty much every hedge fund to find liquidity flows and hedges for the entire quarter. And so they start putting on base positions that are quarterlies, and then they start sprinkling into monthlies, and then they start going into grindy weeks and days. Okay. But most of the time, monthlies, quarterlies, and yearlies are going to be contained within these market maker ranges. Okay. And how does this change? How do the expectations shift? Why is it that a plus minus shows up today, and then all of a sudden, what's going to be the biggest influence on this to change this? The volatility index. So if you see the volatility index spiking up to 20, 25, 30, all this changes, right? So let's say the VIX goes up. If the VIX goes up, okay, then what that's going to do to all these calculations is the box is going to get larger here. The box is going to get larger here. The box is going to get larger here. And it's going to get larger here. And it's going to get larger here. Okay. Market makers' job will continue to always be dynamic, and they will evolve based on their models, based on their calculations, and what the VIX is doing. We have a suppressed VIX right now. We have not seen the VIX other than one time in the last month spike above 20. Okay. When we had that July 31st to August 1st sell-off, the VIX got up to like 22. And then once it was back below 20, we came all the way back down to 15, sub 15, sub 15, up to 17, up to 19, back down to 14, 15, a very suppressed VIX. So, I mean, there are forces right now that are pushing the VIX down and backing it into a corner. Now, that also spells some higher volatility ahead, because we can't just suppress the VIX forever. At some point, volatility is going to win. At some point, you're going to have like last summer, it would have been a Volmageddon event where like July to August, the market, fell really hard, but it was basically a volatility event. So does this image make sense? I know it kind of, did this from scratch, but if the VIX is going higher, all of these expectations will change. And the reason why we have to pay attention to this, the reason why this should be something dynamic in our trading, is because we can take advantage of this with it's a two-phrase magical thing in the markets. Okay. If the expected move is greater than the actual move, guess who gets paid on all of those expirations? The market makers. Guess who gets paid on all those expirations? We do. Because if we are aligning ourselves with the expected moves and price doesn't actually go to those moves, then that means it doesn't get to those call levels that we're selling, and it doesn't get to those put levels that we're selling, and therefore we get paid. Credit on top, credit on the bottom, we get paid. If the expected move is greater than the actual move, okay? You want to know something crazy? Not all markets do this, okay? But this year, if you traded bonds /ZB, or if you traded TLT, do you want to know how many days, how many expirations so far this year the market stayed? This is on bonds. How many times in, I don't even know how many trading days we've had so far. We've had more than half, so we're probably 120 some days in the year. Okay, 95% of all expirations have been the expected move is greater than the actual move. That's unprecedented. That's amazing. You know how many people are making a fortune on bonds right now? All the sellers, all the market makers, selling calls, selling puts, prices range bound. Okay. Now, this latest run that we had when bonds are up 5%, now there's going to be an adjustment to risk. It clearly is directional more so. So what they're going to be forced to do is hedge to the upside and then recenter their flows in order to be neutral. Okay. Look, it's simple. It's simple. Market makers don't lose money. Okay. If they lose money, they go out of business. Their job is to make a market. Their job is to control price action. And we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars to do it. These are some of the biggest influences in the market, especially in the options market. So the reason that I keep stressing, the VIX every day, the reason it's part of my indicator for daily profit play with the VIX rule of 16 is volatility matters. And if you're an option seller, it really matters when volatility goes a little bit higher. When volatility goes a little bit higher, that is a much better play for us to have the expected move typically be bigger than the actual. All right. So if you ever wanted to give yourself an extra edge in trading, you should only sell options when the market's above 20 VIX. Okay. But you know as well as I do that we spend months and months and months and months sub 20. So you're basically going to sit on the sidelines for a long, long time, which is why I don't do it. I can still survive with daily profit play. I can survive with current market conditions. But in the background, I just have to be aware that volatility at some point might spike and rear its head. And if it spikes up, I want to have some dry powder to then take advantage of these expected moves because they start to get way larger and we can sell those way larger moves. And the reality is, after volatility starts to revert again, the actual move is much, much less. So we get paid on the expected move being greater than the actual move. And this happens most of the time. Okay. Does this story make sense? This is what we're essentially doing on the most, granular detail with daily profit play is we are taking advantage of what market makers are doing every day in a 0-day environment. They're very, very good at it. Okay. Some days will not cooperate, but we have win streaks of, 9 in a row. I mean, we're 7 for 8 right now. I'm actually 8 for 9 right now with that bear call spread that closed out. I'm 8 for 9 this week. Okay, cool. I've got some profit this week, right? Now, every single day, if this is their job, they're really good at it. And if they don't do their job for the day, they typically do their job the next day. And it's, again, staggering statistic, but this is what the last 3 years of data has shown us. 3 years of 0-day trading every single day in the SPX, 820 trades. Okay. The biggest losing streak, meaning consecutive days, 2 consecutive days. That's as bad as it got, right? As bad as it was we took 2 losses in a row over the course of 820 trades. So you can trade with confidence knowing that market makers are really good at their job. They don't let prices go too high, too low for too long. And we take advantage of that. And that's what daily profit play is. Does that make sense? Peter's is being recorded? Yes. Deanna, we posted. Is this running live on YouTube right now? I'm just curious if we're dual streaming.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Thumbs up. Cool. Thank you. We'll switch gears. I'm going to have the prezo here in a moment, but I just want to make sure everyone's good on that. So this is in theory, but theory to practice. This is what we know the market makers are supposed to do. This is what they do every single day, every single week, every single month, quarter, yearly. If volatility changes, their plans change. When volatility is higher, the expected move gets larger, and usually that's when you see the best time to take advantage of selling options is when the expected move is greater than the actual. Okay. Now, of course, we don't know the actual move. We never know the actual move because that's what's happening in real time. But when the volatility move is higher, we can anticipate that naturally the VIX is a reverting instrument. Okay. So even the VIX going up to like 20-ish, 25, 30, naturally, it's not going to stay at 30, 35, 40, 50, 60 sustainably. Okay. So the scary volatility events we've had over the last 20 plus years, 30 plus years, this is a 30 plus year instrument here. The scary volatility events we've had have been some of the ugliest moves in the market. 2000, 2001, nasty VIX. 2007, 2008, 2009, nasty VIX until the market bottomed. 2015, 16 wasn't a nasty VIX, but we had a 20% range. It was nasty enough that it was elevated. 2018, 1 VIX spike up. 2020, 1 VIX spike up. 2022, sustained 20 to 40 VIX for almost 9 months. 2024, spike up the VIX during July to August. 2025, spike up to 50, 60 on the VIX during Liberation Day and that debacle, March to April. But after that, VIX goes from super high levels, suppressed all the way back down, reverting all the way back down. Expected moves are way higher than actual. And if you're a seller of those options, you can make an absolute fortune. Okay. So it's that phenomenon for the last 50 plus years that market makers do their job very, very well. And it's our job just to align ourselves with them. And that's what we're doing every day in daily profit play. Fair? Okay. All right. So that being said, I just want to spot check a couple things. We're trading at 65.91 right now. We do have a call level around 6,600. I still have some pending orders. Okay. So that 66.0510 is closed out. My 15 by 20 is still in profit. It still has a fairly high probability of profit. 15 is around a 9 delta. So again, I think I'm going to be okay on that one for some profit. We still have pending orders. If the, let's see here, 15 by 20 is still pending, is trading at 30 cents. I'm going to see if it gets filled for a buck. This one is a broken wing trying to get filled for a buck, not filled yet. This one's a broken wing for Monday, and this is my closing order. So I'm not stressing too much over what has to happen. If price comes up to my call wall today around 66, I don't think we're going too much higher than 66.10. Plus minus on the day. Let's go to today's price action. Plus minus on the day was about 25 points. So we opened up right here. Okay. 25 points puts us up to around 66.10, 66.11. Plus or minus 25 here puts us down to about 65.60. I should be fine either way. Okay. So our standard daily profit play probably going to be okay. Let me check on that one right here. This is standard. Right now it's up about 9%. Okay. I'll just let it do its thing. Up 13%. Let it do its thing. Okay. We'll see what we get. Okay. So, really quickly, if this is, I mean, we got a nice solid room today. What was Liberation Day? Are you asking about the VIX, Gerald? Are you asking like what is Liberation Day? um, I think most people that were in the markets or followed Donald Trump as president know what Liberation Day is. It was essentially the trade war around the world. That was Liberation Day. And the market has a systemic risk flinch for about 3 days. It was one of the biggest spikes we've seen in the VIX ever in history, and it was also one of the fastest reversions we've seen in history. So, leave it to the man of hyperbole to give us the craziest VIX crash, as well as one of the craziest VIX rallies. Yeah. So yeah, that was Liberation Day. That was like all the nonsense that happened through March and April with, we're threatening tariffs, what's going to happen. And what's crazy is like he told us a month in advance, and people kind of listened but kind of shrugged it off because like, well, he tried tariffs back in 2016, 17. Well, we did a whole new class 2025. So the market was a little caught off guard by, I think the market was anticipating like a 5-10% tariff. That's what I was reading as far as pricing in. March expected like a 10% global tariff. And we came out swinging with that, the big plastic board that was, 30, 40, 50% tariffs. We threatened China with 100+% tariffs, and the whole market just lost their mind for a second. So it was an overreaction that quickly pivoted, because what ultimately happened was that announcement led to a break in the liquidity of the bond market, which rattled up, overall liquidity and instability in the global markets. And it was a systemic risk for a couple of days. And all of a sudden it pivoted hard. And here we are talking to all-time highs months later. So reflexive rally, but it was just a silly wait. I mean, I said it like when it crashed, and I'm like, if we go to all-time highs, that is the most unnecessary 20% correction I've ever seen. I mean, a 20 to 30% correction during COVID, I guess it makes sense when the whole world is thinking that, hey, things are going to change. Nobody goes to work anymore. The world is ending as a pandemic. That's a little bit more extreme than we're gonna tax the world, and here we are at all-time highs. But the narrative changed as well. We went from trade war to trade more. Now it's growth. Now it's growth. Now it's growth. Now it's AI. Now it's going to be front and center, the best of everything. Very different narrative. So markets can do that. Markets don't have to stick to one thing ever. So anyway, that's what's crazy. Let's see here. What website address are you on so I can order? If you want, so daily profit play. Yeah, we've got an order form. Well, I'll talk through it. You can go into my website as well, chrispulvertrading.com. So chrispulvertrading.com. You can check out any of these. So daily profit play, which we trade every single day. Double up alerts, I trade every week. Newsbreakers, I trade every few weeks. This is really heavy around earnings season as well. So we're going to take a few weeks off until earnings kick back up here through the quarter. Pinch Point, one of my favorite dashboards. I built this for vol plays. We are like 83, 84% winners. And we just set the trade up. It finds me, fantastic trades. I just have to price them out, make sure they're fair priced. And then waterfall income, one of my favorite income strategies every week. We get the same trade in by noon every Monday. And we are winning 93+% of our trades, over like 93, 94 winners so far. But you want active, daily profit play, by far the most active. We have taken over 450 trades or something like that. Just got filled 80-cent debit. Oh, that was okay. Daily profit play took profit. Okay. So we got another winner. Nice. Standard daily profit play was a winner. That was a 30%er. So we did 80 out of 115. So that was a 30% winner. Hot diggity. Let me type that in. So today's DPP Standard DPP entry was $1.15 credit, closed 80 cents debit, 30% winner. Not bad. We'll take it. So that's a bear call spread winner today and a standard daily profit winner that puts me up to 9 for 10 for the day. Hopefully I have 10 for 11 with that other bear call spread closing out today, as long as price stays below 66.15. In order for that trade to get filled, I'm thinking price went back down. It did. So price is right back down to center. Perfect. And that makes my bear call spread look even better. It's trading down close to my 10-cent debit. I think I'm just going to let it close there so I don't have to worry about it, but I'd be happy just to make $100 on it. Let me see. Are we coming back to 66? It's a 5 delta. I'm going to go ahead and again, I shouldn't do this for outlier risk in the afternoon, but I'm going to go ahead and I'll replace it with 5 cents. I was going to say I'm going to remove it and just take the full $100, but I'm going to put it down to 5 cents. See if this will fill me at 5 cents. It's trading at 10 right now, but not filling me at 10. So anyway, I'm going to try to make $95 out of the max 100 per contract. Okay. All right. Couple of things before I go. I just want to make sure I'm not overlooking anything. Let's see here. Very nice. Deanna, I'm going to share a message with you in Slack real quick. Okay. Is this something that you can queue up? Will you let me know? I'm going to throw out this message to you in 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, I have it all ready whenever you are.
You are the best. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Very good. Let me just give me like another minute to wrap things up. Okay. So again, we've gone all over the place. Overall for the week, that is pretty good week overall. Another bear call spread winner. So that is 6, 4, 6, 8, and 4, 6, 9. So we have trade today for $1.15, closed out for 80 cents. That was a 385 risk. So that return. Okay. Today is the 12th. Just getting this typed in the tracker right now. All right. So price is around 65.85. And today's the 12th. 65.85. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to transition over to a session that I did with Nate Tucci yesterday on opening playbook. Here's what I'm saying. I know that sometimes this morning stuff is fast paced. I can tell you with 1000% confidence, and I can also share feedback from yesterday. Okay. If you can see this, I asked all of my members yesterday in Daily Profit Play, give me out of 10 grading me as an instructor. Okay. You're amazing. I love your classes. 10, 10 plus, 10, 100, 10, 10, 10. I got Mark Connor there. Mark, you're on my, no, I'm just kidding. Mark got an 8. So I'm going to spend more time teaching Mark. Okay. Who else? 10s, 15s, 9s, 10 plus, 10, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Look, I'm not doing that to brag. I'm just saying, like, we spent 3+ hours together this week so I can teach you how this stuff works. Are you going to learn this in a 1-hour session? No. Okay. What you're going to do is let me teach you over the course of a couple of hours the theory, the practice, the full strategy from start to finish. Take 30 minutes of your time and watch an educational video that I will post again today. Because if you jump into the Telegram, you might not see the past history. So what I'll do today is, if you jump into my Daily Profit Play, I'm going to post this link for new members at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. What this is this is a 32-minute video that is pretty much every strategy we deploy in the service. And like I said, it is a strategy for directionally neutral, market goes sideways, calling the top, calling the bottom, or getting price to go directional. I don't care what we have to do to win. I don't care. I'm doing the best that I can to maintain the highest win rate that I can. 415 winners over the last year at an 89% rate. There is nobody in this company, I am pretty sure, and Deanna could probably back this up because she knows what all these other services do too. I don't think there's anybody else in this company that has that many trades in the last 12 months with that type of win rate. It has been my goal to make this the winningest strategy, the highest confidence strategy. And the good thing is we do this every single day with a plan. All right. We don't get lucky. This isn't luck. Okay. What we are doing is relying on what market makers do best every single day or week or month, and we take advantage of that. Okay. All right. So I know sometimes in the morning, right around opening bell, if you're coming in new to Daily Profit Plan in this free session, it's fast paced and it's kind of wild and crazy, but it does work. Okay. And so what I can say is, let me teach you, come back in and let's do this every single day. And you will learn a lot more and a lot faster by doing it with me and doing it with us. And because this community has been growing since day one, we have a lot of happy traders. We understand the core strategies. We can follow along with our option strategies and our options platforms, right? Our broker platforms. We can follow the trades. So when I punch in the numbers here and I'm talking about this is a trade we put in, you can follow that and trade it. Okay. This is a trade we can put in. You can put that in. You can follow my pending orders. You can manage these trades. If you're not there yet, if you're still navigating your broker platform, that's fine. I have YouTube videos. Every broker has how-to videos on how to enter and manage your trades. That would be the one prerequisite I would say is please be comfortable navigating your broker platform. I can show you Schwab. I can show you Tasty Trade. I can show you Thinkorswim. I can show you Webull and Robinhood. But if you're using those platforms, I want you to be comfortable placing trades, finding trades, managing trades. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, because I have some new members joining, Deanna's going to pull up a session here in just a few minutes. I'm going to post this link for a 30-minute video at 12 noon. All right. So what that gives you time to do is if you want to jump into my daily profit play and be a member, you can jump in, and that would be in the next probably 60 minutes or so. Get access to Telegram, get access to the member portal in the classroom. I'll post this link. So make sure by noon you have Telegram. If you want to give our team a call, you want to email us, support@prosperitypub.com. They can get you hooked up. Okay. So that being said, Deanna, go ahead and fire it up, and you can grab the screen from me. But we will be posting that video at noon. And we did a masterclass as well yesterday and on Wednesday. So go into your classroom, check out those 2-day masterclasses. It is everything that you need for the core strategy. And it's as distilled and as simple and as granular as I can make it. So we can come in here with all the confidence in the world to jump into these markets every single day and trade with confidence. All right. Thanks.
And strategies, none of them can guarantee the future. Always risk of loss. Chris talked a lot about when he loses and what that looks like. Past performance certainly doesn't guarantee future results. We're looking at Chris's live trades, hundreds and hundreds of them. The win rate has been 89% with an average return of 13% over a one-day hold time, because yes, this is leveraging that same power of the zero DTE that Chris talked about. And just to be super clear, in case that was not clear enough, obviously, Chris is going to give you a whole bunch of examples of how this works, how powerful it is, live trades. It doesn't mean that it wins 100% of the time, guys. He just shared with you. He has some losers. He expects to win the next day. Sometimes there's 2 in a row. That has happened, once or twice in 800 trades. But that doesn't mean, okay, risk the farm because tomorrow's going to hit. Hopefully you guys are smart enough and have been in this room long enough to know that, but we just want to be super clear. All right, let's jump in. If you guys don't know me, I'm Nate Tucci. Today, I brought Chris on to show you a trade idea that could be worth $100 or more by the next morning every day. In fact, if things go as we expect, it should hit your account actually automatically within about the first 90 minutes of the day. All you do is set a position like Chris does every day at 9:35 a.m., let the market tick a few points in either direction. We literally don't care. And as long as nothing crazy happens, we should see $100 or more hit the account within the first 90 minutes of the day. Now, I understand that sounds a little crazy because I just said it doesn't even matter which direction it goes, maybe even too basic to actually work. But let's just take you through a couple trades. Here's one from August 14th. Anyone using the trade would have set the position up at 9:35 a.m., maybe spent the next 90 minutes at the gym. Chris might have done that, but I wouldn't have done that. And then came back to see $162 sitting in your account. Next day, Friday, August 15th, same thing. Notice the chart looks very different, but the trade is the same. maybe hit the trails for a quick ride, and came back 90 minutes later, this time $225 fully automatically sitting in the account. Then you've got Monday, the next trade day, August 18th. Once again, set up the trade at 9:35 a.m. Maybe go for a hike there in the mountains where Chris is. Come back, $125 about an hour later. So $512 over 3 very different trading days, 125, 225, 162. Keep in mind, these are not from a back test. These are not pulled from a theoretical study. These were real trades found and taken by our guest today. In fact, over the last year, he's posted 400 of these daily payouts, actually more if you go all the way back, more than any other trader I know. I mean, Chris has more winners over the last year than any trader that I'm aware of on the planet, which says something because we interact with a lot of different traders. Like July 7th, we could have popped into a trade around 9:35, maybe spent the morning at the range getting dialed in. I played yesterday, by the way, Chris. Played really good on the front, horrible on the back, but we won't talk about that. Came back 90 minutes later to take an extra $149 in the account. What about the 21st? We set up the trade again, 9:35 a.m. Come back 90 minutes later, $298 in profits, sitting there having no idea what the market actually would have been doing. Now, we don't have to time the entry. We don't have to time the exit at all. And by the way, you didn't even have to come back and close the trade manually. The returns would have deposited automatically into the account. Now, I'll admit something like that really shouldn't even be possible, but Chris isolates a unique anomaly that shows up every day in the options market. And I do mean every single day. It allows anyone to target $100 or more each day the market is open. Now, let me assure you that's not a silly gimmick. This anomaly has been studied by Columbia Law, University of Syracuse, even the Federal Reserve has studied this, yet most folks just have no idea how to leverage it. But today, that all changes because our guest, Chris, has promised to share the entire secret behind this daily profit strategy. In fact, he already gave you a sneak peek. And then tomorrow, he'll actually walk us through the brand new trade, the one that sets up tomorrow morning at the same time, targeting upwards of $100. But not just that, he's going to show us how to scale those daily trade ideas up to target an extra $200, $500, even $1,000 per day, like some of his students have already scaled it up to. So if that sounds exciting, well, welcome to the Daily Profit Play, one of the coolest, most unique, and just frankly best strategy that just plain works that we have in our entire ecosystem. And thanks for being here and checking this out. Now, again, if this is your first live event, I'm sure most of you know Chris and I, but if not, my name's Nathan Tucci. Thanks for being here. I'm the senior income strategist at Prosperity Pub, Trading Pub, and the New Money Crew. And over the last few years, I've had the privilege of producing some of our firm's most popular income strategies. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar. One of them has a 76%. One of them has an 80%, a little higher now. One of them has an 81% win rate. However, the Daily Profit Play, I'm just going to give you a spoiler, has a better win rate than all of those. And it piqued my interest because the 89% accuracy across hundreds of live, again, real-time, real money, live trades issued. But more importantly, it has all the attributes of a strategy that I'd love to trade myself. Insane accuracy, limited risk, very important, really short hold times, quick execution, affordable options, and most importantly, the chance to target an extra $100 or more every single day the market is open. Now, the man behind these daily profit plays, as you probably know by now, is Chris Pulver. He's arguably one of the most innovative option traders on the planet. If you guys have been in his sessions, you've seen the way that he does ratio trades and collar trades and two-way trades, all the kind of stuff that he does. He really knows the options market as well as anyone I've ever met. At his former hedge fund, he managed multi-million-dollar book on behalf of private clients. And today he's still managing, several $1 million on behalf of friends and family. He's traded through the dot-com bubble, the housing bubble, the great financial crisis, and every major market event over the last 25 years. And my favorite part, of course, is that he's even a certified golf instructor for the PGA. That's the real reason I wanted to bring Chris in. But since joining our team, he's quickly become one of the most sought-out traders in our company's history. He's shown our traders 400 unique winners with an accuracy rate greater than 89%. On average, that's more than one winning trade per day for an entire year straight. That's something that I don't think anyone else in our company can quite claim to have done. And that's why I've asked Chris to join us. He's going to hand us the complete profit play strategy and show us how to implement it starting, of course, tomorrow morning, because we've got another market session headed our way. Now, unlike most trading strategies out there, the daily profit play is actually not dependent on market direction, not at all. The market can tick higher, it can tick lower, it can be completely dead flat, but each of those scenarios offers the chance to collect $100 or more within the first 90 minutes of each day. So Chris, with that long introduction to hopefully set the stage in a big way, why don't you actually start walking us through how these profit plays work?
Well, of course, Nate, and I'd love to, and thank you for that intro. And before we get too far along, I want to be really clear with everyone. Today, you are going to see a lot of winning trades. As Nate mentioned, we've closed over 400 winning trades in the last year alone. That's with 89% accuracy, but that does not mean that losses won't happen. If the market does something very out of the ordinary, it is possible to lose, okay? So if you decide to trade with us tomorrow morning, make sure you do not over leverage yourself, because finding success in the stock market is not about closing one big trade every once in a while. It's about doing one thing consistently and watching results compound. And that's what the daily profit play aims to do. It's a basic trade that anyone can implement any day of the week. It does not matter if we're in a bull market. It doesn't matter if we're in a bear market or a recession. All we have to do is set the position up around 9:35 in the morning, let the market tick a few points in either direction. And as long as nothing extreme happens, we should see about $100 or more hit our account within the next 90 minutes. Now, it's been proven to work in the best of times and more importantly, during the worst of times. And that is not an exaggeration. Okay, for example, let's jump back to March of 2025. If you don't remember that, that was the worst stretch of trading since the pandemic. Over the course of 33 trading days, the market lost $11 trillion.
Crazy. That
That was one of the most aggressive downturns in the history of the stock market. According to Fidelity, the average 401k was down $127,000. Now, if you're trading options, good luck, because typically a long option, $1,000 would have almost been worthless on any direction you took during that window. So, however, a $1,000 position into the daily profit play would have posted a very different outcome. Okay. In fact, during the month of March, one of the craziest, most chaotic months we had, we posted 42 winning trades with just 4 losses. That's a 91% win rate during the worst month of the year. Okay. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to take you through all 40 plus trades, but some of our best include here, $333 on March 3rd, and then $290 shortly after, $183, $101, $136, $149, $162, $273, $162, $212, and $169, all through that month of March.
Yeah, and if people notice, those candles look very different. That is a very different back and forth. So it's incredible, especially considering there were 29 additional winners that you didn't even mention in that same stretch. So if you guys took each of those trades, again, we're not talking 50 grand in each, we're talking $1,000 in each, you would have compounded that to $6,706. By the way, that does include winners and losers over that stretch. And here's what's really compelling. Chris is not the only one making these trades. It'd be one thing if this was just kind of his private track record. Each morning, he shares them live with hundreds of students. In fact, one of his top traders wrote in saying that he made $67,000, Chris, with you in about 90 days trading these.
That's right. And that's Larry. He's been crushing it, and he's got some pretty big accounts. So I just don't want the numbers to fool you, but that's an incredible return. And for some folks, I mean, $67,000 in just a couple months could be absolutely life-changing. That's a huge chunk of profit. But please know that particular trader does have a fairly large account. He's trading in the 6 and 7 figures. But here's what's cool. You don't need 6 figures to target these daily profit plays. You don't need decades of trading experience. You don't need to guess which direction the market might head. With just a small trading account, we can target $100 or more each morning. And we have the chance to scale this up to $200 a day, $500 a day, and even $1,000+ a day, which I have several people doing. Now, compared to your typical trading strategies, this is a lot less stressful. We don't have to time our entry. We don't have to fight against time decay. We don't even have to close the trade manually. As long as the market ticks a few points in either direction, usually within about 90 minutes. And that's really why I'm here today, because traditional trading can be really hard. There are so many variables you have to get right. You have to time the entry. You have to time the exit. You might have to get direction right, okay? But with this new type of trade, we don't have to worry about any of that. And I'll explain that in just a second. But the reason that we've won 400 trades over the last year is because all we do is set up the trade by 9:35 and let the market take care of the rest. For example, let's jump back to the middle of May. Now, in this case, the market didn't lose $11 trillion, but trading conditions were far from ideal. We had huge gaps all over the place. We had news surrounding the trade war. It created a stretch of very volatile days. Now, most traders typically avoid
this type of volatility or have no idea what to do. But with our trade, it didn't matter all that much because the market can tick higher, the market can tick lower, it can even chop sideways. And yet each scenario offered the chance to collect $100 or more within the first 90 minutes of the opening bell. So for example, here's what happened on May 20th. Despite being a choppy day, the market finished slightly lower. So typically directional traders would do their best to avoid the chop or they'd be losing. But with daily profit play, it didn't matter because as long as we set the trade up by 9:35, we would have hit our daily profit. And in that case, it would have been worth an extra $164 about 90 minutes later. Now that's not bad. Now let's jump to the next day. In this case, the market opened flat, but eventually closed in the red. Anyone with money on the line that day, especially bullish, would have posted a losing day. However, anyone using our daily profit play would have seen an automatic $111 hit their account around 90 minutes later. What about the next day, June 22nd? In this case, the market drifted sideways and finished slightly higher on the day. Even if you were right on direction, time decay and the premium on being long would have eaten into your returns. So with our daily trade, we didn't have to worry about that at all. In fact, our traders would have seen an extra $342 hit their account within 90 minutes of the opening bell. And the next day, June 23rd, it's the same story. Another $104 within about 90 minutes just after the open. Let's look at one more together. In this case, the market sold off and finished 53 points lower, okay? Anyone that traded normal call options most likely got smoked. But anyone using the daily profit play would have seen an extra $234 hit their account well before their lunch hour.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to see all these different examples. Despite the market posting 5 very different outcomes, your trade posted 5 different winners. And so anyone who started with $1,000, again, we're not talking about 50 grand, you would have basically doubled it over a handful of trades. They would have walked away with about $955 after just 5 quick trades. If you double your starting stake, well, of course, you double your profits, looking at about $1,910. Now, I don't want to sound cheesy, but I mean, $1,900 over letting the market really do whatever it wanted. That's pretty nice. That's money could be used for, happy hour, weekend getaway. Of course, I would be using it for golf as I tend to. But, a lot of people in here might say, hey, that's a mortgage payment for me if I could have a $1,900 stretch. Or maybe your next Amazon purchase, which is certainly what my wife would have ended up using that $1,900 on. But it's kind of like having that side hustle, not a lot of work, works every day, but without putting in the extra hours.
Yeah, and Nate, that's only partly true because despite our win rate being upwards of 89%, we still have to set up the trade, and the market still needs to play its part. But ultimately, that's what we are striving for, and that's what we're relying on. Daily profit play was designed to work in tandem with your life, so not alter it, right? That means if you have a day job, don't quit. If you're saving for retirement, don't stop saving. That's not what the strategy is about. This is using a small portion of our current investments to target daily profit each morning. It's not going to make you a millionaire overnight. It won't allow you to retire tomorrow, but the goal is to target about $100 or more each morning in hopes to make life just a little bit easier. Now, if you want to target more or less, you absolutely can. This is very scalable. We have top traders of all ages, all different skill levels, and all different account sizes that are following me every day in the daily profit play. We have traders like Jim that's targeting about $100 a day. Look at that track record, 26, 2-1. We have Drazen, who is up $200 a day. Matt, who did $440 in a day. We have guys like William, who's pulling in more than $1,000 per day. Look at that. I consistently pull in 1 to 2K, no hype, just consistent with risk management on a 40K account. Stick with it, right? That's awesome. It doesn't matter what struggles you've had in the past. It doesn't matter if you've been struggling in trading, lost your last 10 trades in a row. Our daily strategy was designed to target $100 or more, regardless of how the market moves. All we have to do is set up a trade around 9:35 a.m. each morning.
Yeah, and it seems like you're sharing the strategy at a very convenient time, something we've talked about a ton in Opening Playbook is that great divergence. The economy for regular people has been very taxing, weakening dollar, trouble in the Middle East, tariff backlash, nuclear crisis, and just a ton of other things. And probably the biggest thing, just the plain hard cost of everything in life right now.
Yeah, and Nate, you're exactly right. And look, a lot of folks that I talk to are scared. I mean, family and friends, savings rates are down, interest rates are up. And many people are just struggling to cover the most basic needs. And in my opinion, an extra $100 a day would help move the needle for most people. But it would probably require a full-time job or a part-time job to just make $100 a day. Most of us don't have that type of time.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't have time for a part-time job like most people. I have kids, probably more kids than most people, to be fair. I have a full-time job. I have a couple full-time jobs, I would say sometimes, between trading and trying to run our business, and plenty of responsibilities that need my attention every day. So working a second job, definitely not an option for me, and I'm sure most of the people listening to me. But with the daily profit play, we're talking about $100 or more each morning without needing all that time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you walk us through? Obviously, the big thing is, okay, how do we start doing this tomorrow?
Yeah, and so let's do this. So right now, I'd like to remind everyone that we have not been perfect. All right, about 10% of our trades have gone against us. Now, with this strategy, there is bound to be both winners and losers. That's the nature of trading, but we're going to trade through it. But in our case, we've won about 8 times more than we've lost. Okay, and that's not because we're doing anything overly special. We're just simply aligning our trade with the daily expectations of the stock market, and more specifically, like I said earlier, with market makers. You see, no one can grasp the market better throughout the trading day of what's going to happen than a market maker. Their entire job, their existence, is to forecast the day's price action and quote options accordingly. Now, in order to align with them, we use a special metric called the expected range. It's a volatility-based range that represents the market's expected high and low for the day. Now, the way it works is actually quite simple. Each morning, the market makers will give us an expected high representing the day's highest possible price, but also the expected low representing the day's lowest possible price. And you see, this range accounts for pretty much all major events that would move the market in either direction for that particular day in expiration, whether it's good news or bad news, it's economic data, it's global tensions, or any other thing that could unfold throughout the trading day. But here's the thing, unless something extreme happens, the markets rarely move outside of that expected range. So in other words, it almost always stays somewhere in the middle. And that's where our strategy begins, because we don't have to care what direction the market moves. We're not betting on it to move higher. We're not betting on it to move lower. We don't even care if it does nothing at all, okay? We need it to just stay within the range, typically the first 90 minutes of the day. And as long as that happens, we should collect our daily profit. For example, let's take a look here for June 4th. On that particular day, the market maker set the top at 60.20 and set the bottom at 59.35. Now, in that case, we were expecting the market to stay somewhere in the middle. And sure enough, they were right. The market stayed range bound all day. And for us, it was good enough to collect our daily profit. In fact, anyone following along would have seen an extra $197 hit their account within the first 90 minutes of the trading day. You see, it doesn't matter if the market ticks higher, lower, or stays completely flat. All that matters is that it stays within the range, which happens more than 90% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, pretty clever to use their actual move kind of against them, an extra $197, just because the market stayed within that range. But I know that you all obviously took this trade with your own money as well.
Absolutely. I take all these trades. I've taken every trade that I'm sharing with you today. In fact, I've taken all 400 plus trades in the tracker that have been winners. In primary, this is the primary way that I generate daily income from the stock market. In a perfect world, we can start by targeting $100 a day, and you can slowly scale this up that we can get $200 a day or $500 a day or even $1,000+ per day. And the best part is the trade will work the exact same way. As long as the market stays within the expected range for usually that first 90 minutes, we should see our daily profit. So let's look at another example here on June 25th. Top of the range was set at 61.25. The bottom of the range was set at 60.80. Now, as long as the market stayed in between, we had a chance to profit. And sure enough, the market stayed perfectly within the confines of that expected range. Anyone who followed along would have seen a $470 profit hit their account before 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now, that's really the secret to all this, right? The market makers are smart. They set the range wide enough to contain almost every major market movement for the day, which includes swing highs and swing lows, and even surprise events that might happen during the day. Here's an example we took on June 13th. The high of the range was set at 60.50, and the low of the range was set at 59.60. That is a pretty large expected range, but that's by design, okay? That's meant to capture most major movements that happen through the day. In this case, we know the market would likely stay somewhere in the middle. And sure enough, as again, that's exactly what happened. Anyone who took the trade with us would have seen roughly $100 hit their account within about 90 minutes. But notice what actually happened here. The market sold off at the open, rallied midday, and sold off again. In this case, it was an Israeli airstrike, but it never moved outside of the expected range. And that's why our win rate is upwards of 89%. We know the range accounts for most major swings that happen throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, I love this approach. It makes so much sense to me, especially just to get in, to get kind of reset day after day, because the market makers rarely ever get it wrong. The only way that they get paid is if that market stays within the range. If it moves outside the range, then they're going to have a whole bunch of exposure that they obviously don't want to have for those options they sold outside the range. That's why they'll do anything in their power to defend those levels like we were talking about.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And a lot of times market makers will push back the market within the daily range. So for example, here's a trade on June 2nd. The top of the range was 59.45. The bottom of the range was set at 58.55. And as long as the market stayed in between, we had a chance to profit. And sure enough, the market stayed perfectly within the confines of that daily range. Now, anyone who took a trade with us would have collected another daily profit winner. But notice how the market bounced off the bottom part of that range. In that case, that's market makers that are likely defending the integrity of that range for the day. So in other words, they wanted to make sure that the market stayed within the expected range. And thankfully they did, because it's worth another $150 for us for a nice little winner.
Yeah, you never seem to disappoint with these ideas. I mean, anyone who took each of those last 4 trades, again, we're not talking about crazy money, $1,000 starting stake, $950 in profit. If you double that, double your profit, $1,900. And, that's a meaningful chunk of change, but it's really not the most impressive part of the strategy, because if you look through all of the trades, and this is June, again, not exactly an easy month to trade. If you guys remember, you had 32 winners, just 2 losing trades. Now, that's an insane feat to do in any month. I mean, I don't know of any traders who went 32 and 2 in June, but when you're not 100% reliant on direction, it makes it, make a lot more sense. Let's walk through each week here just in June, just to kind of give you an idea. So week 1, 10-0. That's a crazy week. Week 2, 5-2. Then week 3, 7-0. And then week 4, 9-0 throughout June. Then just 1 win there on the last day of the month to cap it off. So total profit, $4,575. That's like a 450% net ROI on 1K. Now, take that over the course of an entire year. We're going to get, like Chris has talked about, 400 trading opportunities. 2 years, maybe 800 trading opportunities. 5 years, you're going to have 2,000 different trades over the course of that time. The sky is the limit, and all you're doing is setting it up over and over and over again each day, which brings me to the profit play that Chris is going to share with us live tomorrow morning. If all goes according to plan, no surprise, you probably know by now, you're going to look to make about $100 or more within the first 90 minutes of the day. Now, again, we're not going to guarantee tomorrow's a winner, right? Obviously, the market has, crazy market movements. We don't know. Please do not over leverage yourself. But if you'd like to join and get in on the very next opportunity, which will be right after the market opens tomorrow, it's all part of this daily profit play that Chris does. It's kind of his flagship service every single day, an opportunity to make money from the market.
Yep, that's exactly right. And this unique strategy was designed to help us target about $100 a day or more each and every morning without needing to trade in any particular direction. As long as the market stays within the expected range for the first 90 minutes of the day, we should collect our daily profit. Since our inception, it's been a massive success. We have seen top traders of all skill levels, all different account sizes, thrive during some of these crazy conditions. Here's Lynn that started out with $4,000, has added $15,000 of profit to that, now making about $1,000 a day with a 90% win rate. Here's Randy. I've had 176 winners, 20 losses, gross profit $56,000. Randy's actually over 200 trades winner right now. Here's Maddie, just started about a week ago. I haven't lost on it yet, made $695 just today on it. Here's David E, 2380 gross, super day. I mean, Dave makes like $1,000 a day on a lot of his trades. Here's Ken, 16 wins, 1 loss since I started. Again, Chris is great at coaching, explaining, managing risk. I do this live each and every morning. Here's David S, the best program to belong to. I've only had 1 loss since joining Daily Profit Play. It was small and manageable. It came on a day in a huge move. Literally the rest of the days were all winners. Great program. Love that from David. WJB, I have not lost 1 trade in Daily Profit Program. Sure, I might have to wait for it to close, but it works better than anything I've seen. In total, we've won 400 times, over 400 times, with an 89% accuracy. Now, anyone who invested
this number is crazy, Chris.
$1,000, so $1,000 in each trade would be looking at $61,000 in trading profits for that 400 plus trades with me. Now, keep in mind that's happened over 12 months. Okay, a few of our very best members were getting there even faster. Here's Larry again. $67,000 in 90 days. He's actually over 6 figures in earnings on this one. The best of all is we can target our next daily profit play starting tomorrow. Okay, I'll be hosting a live trade workshop at 9 a.m. My plan is to walk you through the strategy and show you how to set up the trade. We'll even do some Q&A and make sure everything makes sense. And at 9:35, we'll jump into our first daily profit play together. I'll give you everything you need to follow. I'll post in Telegram. I'll even share my screen, walk it through step by step. But here's the thing. The live trade workshop is not just a one-time event. I host these trades 5 days a week starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. You are more than welcome to attend, but also know that this isn't a requirement. Okay, if you just want the alerts and the trades that I'm taking, I'll post them inside your Daily Profit Play members only Telegram channel. This includes the ticker that we're trading, the options criteria, the trade instructions, how I'm taking the trade from start to finish. All you have to do is read it and decide to follow along, and you get that in real time. Now, you can expect at least one alert pretty much always posted around the same time, but it's not uncommon to see even more. And here's the beauty of the whole thing. We're not bouncing around from ticker to ticker. We're not flipping through dozens of charts. We are trading the exact same ticker at the exact same time each and every day. So if you are new to trading, you can learn how to set up these trades each and every morning.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've been, with you now, I guess about 11 months going through these, 12 months seeing these trades. And I think we've had people of every age, every skill level get in there, do it live with you every day and figure it out. You don't need a degree in finance. You don't need any special skills. You don't need to be a market wizard. Basically, what we're doing with Chris is we're aligning our trade with the expectations of the market makers. And as long as it stays within their range, basically as long as they're right, we should see that daily profit hit. For example, let me give you one from July 22nd. Top of the range, 64.30. Bottom of the range, 63.70 there, or 62.70. In this case, the market stayed range bound all day long. You'll notice it actually made a zero net return during the day, which, by the way, is more common than you realize. But it didn't matter one bit that the market moved nothing. It was still good enough to grab a nice daily profit play, $282. So anyone following along would have seen that hit right around 11 a.m. in this case. Open the trade around 9:35 a.m. That one automatically hit the target right around 11 a.m.
Yep, Nate, you said it perfectly. So obviously that's a nice payday, especially consider we're only needing about $1,000 on these trades. But let's say you doubled your starting stake, that payout would have been worth an extra $564. Now, if you put in more, let's say you're willing to throw 5K at it per day, that's worth, just for a single day winner, $1,410. And it's with daily opportunities like this that it's easy to see why the new annual membership for Daily Profit Play starts at $21.97. Nate, that's you. that's look, it's a great deal, but it includes at least 250 different trading opportunities, Telegram access, the trade tracker, the Daily Profit Play video course, masterclasses, hundreds of live workshops and live sessions, the Daily Profit Play handbook, and other big time bonuses that I haven't even mentioned yet. But today I'm doing something extra special. You see, all the returns we've shown today were based on about $1,000 starting stake. And that's what's led to gains to $164, $225, even $342 in a single day. Now, to help you get started, I'm going to slash $1,000 off of the retail price. Now, my hope is that you use that $1,000 credit towards tomorrow's new trading opportunity.
Yeah, well, that's very generous of you. And I don't say that lightly, guys, because you have to realize Chris is investing absurd amounts of his time to deliver this service every day live with you in the trenches. So for him to give value like that really is just a discount on his time. So anyone who joins today, just to be super clear, will not pay the $21.97, right?
That is correct. Instead, you get the $1,000 credit. We're going one-time payment of $1,197. Now, given the challenges we've seen in the economy, the stock market, and our day-to-day lives, I think that the Daily Profit Play could help relieve some of the financial fears that folks are experiencing today. In fact, I wanted to make price so affordable that you can have the chance to cover it in just a handful of trades. So if you'd like to join us tomorrow and every day, every trade day moving forward, you want to get your credit card ready now and jump into that $11.97. And here's why. Everyone who joins today during this webinar will also get access to my personal profit play indicator. This is the very same indicator that I use to find an issue each daily profit play. Not only will it plot the daily range on the chart, but it also helps you select the trade as well. It has played a huge role in our success day to day. Now, over the next few days, I'll show you how to put this on your charts, teach you how to use it. And I could charge a la carte for this indicator, maybe an extra, $500 or $1,000 for the indicator. But to help you get started, I'll include it in your membership at no cost. But please keep in mind that this is only for folks who join today. So if you want to trade with us tomorrow, you want to trade with me tomorrow, plus get access to the Profit Play indicator, go to this link, prosperitypub.com/100. You can click the link in the chat that just got dropped. Also, you can see the details on the membership. Look, if you'd like to talk to somebody live, we have a customer service team standing by. Give us a call, 904-706-3537. Now, everyone that joins will receive the Daily Profit Play indicator. You'll also receive the $1,000 discount that could be used towards tomorrow's new opportunity. And over the last year, we've logged over 400 daily winners with just 48 losses. That's an 89% win rate on nearly 450 live issued trades that we do it every single day. And please keep in mind, that happened during one of the worst stretches of trading we have seen since the pandemic. So anyone who started with just $1,000 per trade per day would be looking at over $61,000 in profit. So if you'd like to join me tomorrow And every day moving forward, there's the link, prosperitypub.com/100. Now, we'll take some questions here in just a minute, but let me address a couple of common ones. These come up in almost every webinar. Question number one, what size trading account do I need to start? Okay, for this type of strategy, you do not need 10, 20, 30, $50,000 to get started, okay? Many of the members have started with just a few $1,000s and they've scaled this over time. So for example, Lynn started with $4,000, learned the process, is growing this account now by almost $1,000 a day on like a $20,000 to $25,000 account. So it can be scaled. Question number two, how many trades per week should we expect? On average, we're taking about one trade per day. That's not uncommon to see as many as 3 or 4. I'm in this market all day, okay? So example, look what happened on August 20th. Despite being a very wild and choppy day, we went 3 for 3 with daily profit play. The first winner was $250. The second winner was $55. The third winner was $96. We close all 3 of those out. That's $401 of trading profits on the day. You know, this question comes up a ton. What about pattern day trading? Okay, I've got a couple of easy answers. Technically, as a pattern day trader, okay, you get 3 trades per week if your account with margin is under 25K. Now, I want to say something really quick on this. I think that in Q1, Q2 of 2026, pattern day trading goes away. I've got some pretty high resources at Tasty Trade. They've been working with the CBOE, the CME, the SEC. I think pattern day trading, we should be looking forward to it going away by 2026 for retail traders, which I think is a huge win. But there are workarounds you can take. And literally in the first week of the service, Nate, I had one trader that said, okay, Chris, I got an account for this broker and an account for this broker. Right. I trade here 2 days, I trade here 3 days, and they never get flagged. So that's an easy workaround for daily profit play. But at least you also have 3 days a week. I mean, I have my fiance trained on this strategy. She trades it on Mondays and Wednesdays.
There you go. Perfect.
That's it. So it works. So if you're brand new to this, you know, I think, you know, getting a couple trades in per week is perfect to get the ball rolling. But, you know, there are some workarounds to that pattern day trading. I am optimistic that by 2026 it goes away. I mean, Nate, I know you've got a system for your gambling, but I think for pattern day trading, it should go away, right? Yeah. Okay, what ticker are we actually trading? Next question. We only focus on SPX. I traded NDX, I've traded SPY, I've traded futures. I focus on SPX because it's the ticker that represents the S&P 500. We have a huge tax benefit. You could essentially get the 60-40 split of long-term, short-term, and there's also cash settled, zero risk of assignment. Yep. Okay. So what platform does the indicator work on? I put this indicator on TradingView, which you can connect your Tasty Trade account to. I'm also getting the Tasty Trade team. Hopefully their chart platform will do this to put in their charts, but I use TradingView every single day. And I know a lot of our members also have Thinkorswim platforms. So TradingView will have the indicator. Thinkorswim has a platform. Those are in your classrooms right now to download with a how-to video. You know, does it matter which brokerage you have? No. I mean, you have the daily profit indicator for most of what we see a lot of our members have. How do you install the indicator? We've added install links and instructional videos in your members area, and I'm happy to also show you this in the master classes too. Setup time is just a couple of minutes, no issues there. If you need any assistance, we have a team that's always standing by to walk you through that as well. Just hit profit today, by the way, Nate. It is 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Just hit some profit. I love that on daily profit play. So just like clockwork, it took us 2 hours today instead of 90 minutes. But pretty good stuff. Now, our customer service team is always in a live session from 10 a.m. to 1 to answer your questions. If they can't answer that, they will hit me up in real time and I can answer along the way. What type of account permissions do you need to enter these trades? We get this question a lot as well, Nate. Tasty Trade, you know, it's basically level 3, but it's called the works. Robinhood level 3, Schwab level 2 or 3, Interactive Brokers level 3.
And obviously my answer on this one, Chris, is always, I personally think you should have that level anyway, just because, you know, why would you let a broker determine what strategies you're allowed to trade? If you're serious about this, I personally think, I mean, again, just my personal opinion, obviously you have to make all the decisions, but I think it's insane not to have all the permissions available to you to make the decisions that you want in your brokerage account.
Yes, and we also have a quick guide that can get you there. I think Nate would agree with me. Here's the secret phrase you need for your investor profile. You want to grow and speculate on your account aggressively, and you have years in the market. If you can express you have 5+ years of experience and you're looking to grow and speculate on your account, they will give you level 2, level 3 permissions almost automatically. The one thing they might restrict you from is they're not going to let you sell a naked call, or they're not going to let you sell a naked put unless you don't have the cash to back it up. That's about the only way. So look, if you haven't clicked the link, prosperitypub.com/100, go ahead and do that now and bring up the order page.
Hey, I just want to jump in and say that guide that you just mentioned is in the links underneath the presentation, in the announcement section. If you scroll down, there's the link to the guide to getting level 2 and 3 or 4 option permissions are in there.
All right, now we've
nice.
got this question too, like almost like, is it redundant? But I think the numbers speak for themselves. 400 live trades, real money trades. Chris has taken every single one of them, 89% accuracy. So if you guys want to try it for 14 days, you're going to get a whole bunch of trades in 14 days. You're going to get a whole bunch of live classes. This is not like, 14 days, you're going to get one trade. You're going to get like 12 classes with Chris and a whole bunch of trades. And, if you're not happy with it, that's fine. No problem. He's not going to hold you hostage, obviously. But you'll see, I think, not just from Chris, but all the students in there kind of championing on, helping you that the edge on this, using that market maker move, it's about as significant of a daily edge as you're going to get. $226, $169, $219, $530, $238. So if you have not joined yet, that link is in there. They post in the chat. It's in the announcements. It should be in the banner. When you do that, click the link. That's going to give you access to everything in there, including, access to the session tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be like Randy. He said he closed his 100th winner with a 90% win rate. Maybe you'll get into the 100 club over the next 150 days or so. Dave, 24 in a row. Don, 90.7%. He's beating you by a little bit there, Chris. Dan, who said he covered the cost in 10 trading days. Or Bose, who said he's at $1,500 a day. That's insane. And then we had Larry, who said he's averaging now, this is an updated one, $2,299 over a 100-day span. What a crazy run that is for a regular, just retail trader who probably never had any idea that something like this was available every single day in the market until he found you. We had LDM $155,000 since May 21st. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, Chris, when you really just stick to a system that has an edge like that and can repeat it. So again, that next opportunity is tomorrow. If you guys want to get in on the action, prosperitypub.com/100, you're going to get as much of Chris's time as any service you'll ever see in terms of someone being willing just to trade with you in the trenches, train you every day, walk through it, answer your questions. I will say, like Chris was just mentioning, it's level 2, level 3 trading. So if you're brand new, you probably got to attend a couple sessions and not really know what you're doing for a little while. But Chris is with you every day to walk you through that, answer your questions. It's not like, hey, I hope I figured it all out in the first master class because then I'm on my own. It's okay if it takes you 3 weeks to get the hang of it. If you're brand new and you want to go through it and you want to see how it works and you want to ask questions, Chris is there with you every day. Plus, he has some bonus training material that we didn't even talk about that are inside his members area to take advantage of. So if this is right for you, which, I think $100 a day for most people every day, clean slate. Chris, one of the things that I love about this, by the way, we didn't really get to dive into a whole lot. Some days or some weeks you get these runs where the market's really hectic, right? It bounces up, then it bounces down. Then you have like a gap down and it looks really ugly. And then you have another gap down and someone says, oh, geez, over the last 4 days, the market's down 5%. For most people, that's a brutal, brutal week. For you, the market gaps down doesn't affect the trade at all. You just reset up the trade in the morning with the new market maker move. It doesn't matter at all that the market went crazy, overnight or anything in between.
Exactly. Every day is literally a clean slate, which is kind of my favorite part because all of the worry, all the overnight, all the risk, all the uncertainty, it doesn't matter. You just show up and trade the day. And so my saying is really, we show up and win the day. We win the day. We win the day. And look, I mean, winning 90% of our trades, it feels amazing. If honestly, Nate, I think this is a strategy that if I was only winning 70 or 60% of my trades, I wouldn't love it as much. But the fact that it's like a losing day, you can almost look at every day and say, that was kind of weird. That really shouldn't have happened. And that's true. If you manage risk the right way, an outlier type day is we're probably going to win tomorrow. So never trade a ton and never over risk and never over leverage, but winners are right around the corner on the one-off time that we have a losing day. And I just think this is something that you commit to the process. All the testimonials we showed today, those are traders that had 0 winners with me when we started the service. And now we're talking, 200 plus winners with Randy. I've got 400 trades in the service. I've got members that have joined, all throughout the timeline. We've been together. But I have traders that also couldn't even turn on their broker platform or couldn't find a call and put button, right? And now these are traders that are taking the same trade with me right alongside me, making hundreds of dollars per day. Dave, for example, I've seen Dave take anywhere between 3 and 5 trades a day, making like $1,500 to $2,000 in a single day. And this is a guy that struggled to turn on a broker platform like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So you can certainly learn fast. And I think that is my job. That's why I'm in the trenches with you every single day. I will teach you all the mechanics of the strategy. But the nice part is it's a clean slate trading day. You show up, you follow the process, you try to win the day, and you keep trading. And this is an enjoyable grind because we don't have to overthink it. And honestly, anytime I've overthought it, like, oh my gosh, we had a huge gap today, or what's Trump going to say? What about the Fed? Honestly, the markets just do their thing. They just are so good at they're just so good at being reliable and being efficient that we just play to the hands of. I'm telling you, we're just the water boy on the all-star team, and let the market makers do what they do best, and we usually side with the winning side. It feels great.
Yeah, I mean, again, I could say a whole lot of things here about why the market maker move works so well, and there's a lot to kind of go down those bunny trails. But I mean, your numbers speak for themselves. Live trading over the last year and a lot of different crazy market conditions. ATR on the SPX has been 7 times higher than it is right now, everywhere in between and where it is right now. And your strategy has basically been consistent through all those conditions, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. So, again, I could theorize about how cool it is and why the market makers are good at defending those levels. But I guess what I would say is look at the track record, guys. I mean, if something that's appealing to you to get into the market every day and have a really high degree of probability that you're going to come out as a winner, doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but just, a really good chance every time you swing the bat. I can't really recommend something a whole lot higher than a daily trade that wins 90% of the time.
Yeah. And look, even through like March and April, I know that there's a lot of uncertain times out there. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. We all talked about it, internally here as well. Like, what does this all mean for the bigger market? But what I said to members is, regardless of what the market does, whether we're down 20%, up 20%, if the whole market is just going to be in the greatest bear market or the greatest bull market, I'm going to be in the trenches with you trading every single day because it's my job. My job is to make the most money I can, the safest way I know how. This is a very safe way to trade. If you lose on the day is done. Show up and trade the next day. Don't drag your losers with you. Yeah. Know that the probabilities are on your side. We've logged it. I don't know any other services, Nate, that have had over 400 trades in a year. I don't know any, in fact, at least a Prosperity Repo. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we've got more active, but I'm like, that's pretty darn active when we're averaging over 1 trade a day. And we've had, so many winners, and it's just, it's this simple. Process equals profits. I like showing up every single day. I get a feel for the market. I put on the mechanical trade, follow the process, and it usually works. And then as the day unfolds, I can also sprinkle in a bonus trade here, bonus trade here. I might position out for a couple of days. I share this with all my daily profit plays too. They get some bonus trades from me in addition to just the straightforward daily profit play that I love every single day.
Yeah.
And I've got a few questions from the private messages if you want them.
Go for it.
Sure, please.
All right. So the most common one, of course, is, about the pattern day trading rule. And you covered that a little bit. They can open multiple accounts to be able to trade this on a daily basis without risking 3 or more. They can only do it a few days a week, right? If they want to do it in one account. They could also, if they wanted to, let it run to expiration at the end of the day, and it won't be a day trade, but that's not really how it's designed.
Correct. I don't love letting it go all day. Usually I'm setting my take profits around the 15, 20, 25, 30%. I personally like the 25%, just stick to the mechanics, set the trade, set the 25%, walk away. Rarely does the trade go all day. In fact, usually within 90 minutes, it's closing out for profit. So David just mentioned the workarounds. I think the cleanest workaround right now for a lot of the members that I've been told is, if you don't have a 25K account, then you've got a small account here with one broker, a small account here with another broker, and you can take your 2 trades a week and 3 trades a week, and that's your daily profit play. It never overlaps. The brokers don't know you're taking 5 trades total because they're totally different. But that's an easy workaround. And like I said, I'm hopeful and optimistic that early in 2026, there is no pattern day trading. I mean, if you can bet on what gender baby Taylor Swift is going to have on a prop market, I'm sure that they should remove pattern day trading for options traders.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some joke about a strike price in there, but I don't know. The next question is, there were some questions about, obviously, because a lot of people that are here for Opening Playbook are in Nathan and Graham's programs. So this obviously has some similarities to Graham's 60-minute, and I don't know, Nathan might be in a better position to answer this, kind of what the differences are. I know that Graham's is more directional. This one, you're playing both sides of the fence, but if you want to do the comparison,
yeah, I mean, that's the big difference. Directional trade, looking for a move inside the day. Chris is basically putting nice comfy barriers on both sides of the market and saying, hey, as long as it stays in between here and the market makers have it right, I'm going to ride their coattails. and take a profit. I like, he said, you don't have to be LeBron James. You can just be the guy who sits on the bench, and as long as LeBron wins, you win. I kind of like that analogy. So that's really how the strategy is designed.
I like to think of it as if Graham's 60-minute and your two-way program had a baby.
There we go.
There we go. A lot of baby making here.
But just whatever I can do to make you feel uncomfortable about it, Nathan, is really my goal. So the next question was about let's see here. Do you happen to know if if these trades can be done through the one-click trading platform directly to the broker if they have that connection? Are there limits on like the legs or anything on that? I don't really know that much about the one-click trading functionality for that.
Nate, do you do that right now in any of your services? Do you use like the one-click trading execution?
They do, for the people who have it integrated, like, because obviously Tasty is one of the options.
Yep.
They do, but that's a good question actually, Dave, on the four legs. I'm not 100% sure. Let's put that on our list to check. That's actually a great question, and I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
know you can do it Tasty, you can do it interactive.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what the limits are, so I didn't want to answer that one.
I'd like to see how that whole experience plays out. So if I do put on the trade, if I can do that, I just want to know like what it's like, because when I do the trades live, it's like you're watching my screen, you're watching me click the buttons, I'm putting the trade up, type it in Telegram right away. So like I'm doing everything live in front of you. So if it's another 60 seconds for me to get the trade ready and post it in one-click trading, like I'm happy to do that. I just don't know what that process looks and feels
Nathan,
like.
I'll be talking to Ileana shortly. I can part of our OCT team. I can ask her if she knows the answer and kind of go from there. Maybe put a demo together for our traders, and then we can put that out to the people, to the members, to the people. Power to the people. Can you talk about the exits? Like, you obviously you give out the trade. Can you talk about what you give out as far as the targets and the exits?
Yep. So I'll give an example. If I took a trade where on the show yesterday, David, we walked through this. So let's say I took a trade and I got filled for, I'll just use really easy numbers. If I'm doing a, $5 spread and I collect a dollar credit, that means I can make a maximum of $1 and I'm risking $4 if I'm dead wrong. Okay. So for me, that's pretty contained risk. And of that dollar max credit, I'm usually happy getting 30, 40 bucks out of that dollar. So a couple contracts in, that's how I get like that 80, 90, 100 bucks a day. Usually takes a couple contracts to do that. But routine is, for about $1,000 risk, we're generating roughly, 100 to 150 bucks a day. So we can scale it on contract size. But as far as the take profit, if I got filled at $1 credit, I'm happy generally getting out at 70 cents. If I get filled for, $3 credit, I'm happy getting out at, $2 debit. So I'm trying to generate somewhere between about 20 to 25, 30% take profits on my credits. And again, if that's like, what the heck is this guy talking about? That's why I teach master classes. That's why I do it every single day. I set the trade up. I set the take profit. This is what it feels like. You jump into the session. We set the trade up. We set the take profit in the broker platform. You literally don't have to be in front of your charts anymore. The trade is in. The trade is done. Let the market makers do their job. And wouldn't that be nice? I'll use that basketball analogy. Would it be nice to just be the water boy and you've got just water set on all the chairs and you can walk away and just go watch the game for fun, get some popcorn, and then come back and it's like, hey, we won. Cool. It's low maintenance. As long as you have, trade size under control, and you're not like, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to micromanage these trades. The trade is in, the take profit is in, let the broker do the work, let the market makers do their job. And we typically win most of our trades.
They put that one extra take profit order in, and then it's kind of like you have the freedom you would have if you were letting it ride to the end of the day, but you don't have to take that risk.
That's exactly right. Yep. So the take profit is in, and that's what should get hit most of the time. Yep.
Those are all the questions that I have here. You guys covered a lot in the presentation. It's really great, and I know you were on this morning. I know you had people that were there from the closing playbook yesterday that joined you this morning. We had people in closing playbook. For those of you that weren't here, we had people that were in closing playbook that were already members of Chris's program, touting how great it was and what a great teacher he is, how much he knows. So definitely some positive feedback from our normal group that's here. And great discount you're bringing with you today. Let me add my screen share so you guys can get to your trading. It's almost 12 o'clock. I know you got other stuff going on. I can kind of wrap it up and answer any last minute questions if you want.
I would like
Thanks.
to toss one thing in real quick. I wanted to kind of wait till the end, but I am hosting a masterclass today for everyone. So if you are in my daily prof play, if you did sign up today at 1 p.m. today, I am hosting a live masterclass, and I do intend to do this, Nate, for the next like week or week and a half. I'm going to run like every day, not just the morning sessions, but also an afternoon session to make sure. Let's replay the day. Let's revisit the day, and let's talk core mechanics and strategy, and make sure we're all on the same page of why we do this trade. So today, 1 p.m. masterclass, and I'll just continue to do that for the next probably week and a half. Because I want, like, I understand that it might be a lot up front when it's like, wait, it's a non-directional trade. We're taking maybe 2-4 legs at a time. I just want to make sure that every little bit, every little component of this trade is for you to learn, and I will teach you everything to be successful.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Chris, for being on. Appreciate it. I know you've done the hard work of actually grinding this out every day and putting together that incredible track record. So happy to get to help you share it with some of our people, and looking forward to everyone, taking advantage of it. See y'all later.
Take care.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. Have a good day, guys. So if you want to get in on that masterclass, that's at 1 p.m. today, you need to be a member of the Daily Profit Play Alerts program. You can do that obviously by clicking the link in the chat or in any of the other links on the screen, or by going to prosperitypub.com/100, or you can call 904-706-3537. Also want to point out that there's a lifetime offer on the second page of the order form if you do it online. Obviously, if you call in, you can just go straight from nothing to lifetime. So those prices are in the announcements and in the chat. So it's you have a 1, 2, and 3 year option on the first page of the order form, and then you can upgrade to lifetime on the second page, and it'll be the difference between whatever you took on the first page and the all-in price of $21.94 for the VIP lifetime membership. So if you want to be able to get in on this and get this, have several hundred trades a year, and have that every year and not have to worry about what's the price going to be to renew next year. I got it at this great price of $11.97 for 1 year, but what's it going to cost me a year from now to renew? For less than doubling that 1 year price, that $11.97, for less than double that, you can have this for life. And that will not only mean you have just almost an infinite number of trades coming to you, but it's at obviously the cheapest cost on a per year basis you're ever going to get it. And it is transferable, so that if you decide to stop trading or you want to leave it to somebody in your will, you can pass this membership on to somebody else, but that's only with the VIP lifetime version. So a lot of benefits to getting VIP. You're basically getting the VIP for $3 less than the normal price of 1 year, which is just an insane discount. So take advantage of that. If you are going to be trading for a while, if you're going to be trading for even 2 years, it's worth it, because it's literally less than the price of 2 discounted 1 year memberships. So if you're going to be trading for 2 years or more, then the lifetime is definitely the way to go. And again, it's transferable if you decide to pass it to somebody else. So that is basically a never-ending membership. What else? So the way to do this and get the most out of it is to join Chris every morning at 9 a.m., where he talks about the strategy and he talks about what's going on that day and sets up the trade. Of course, if you're not available to do that, by being a member, you'll get the alerts anyway, and you can take that trade. And he normally does it right after market open. So it's like, 9:35 a.m. Eastern time, that these trades basically come out, within a few minutes of the market open, 5-10 minutes. And then you're pretty much set up for the day. And he'll talk about, what the profit target should be. And there's training in the members area to teach you how to calculate all of that, how to do all of that for yourself. So you understand, hey, this is what my risk would be if I take this trade. This is what my potential profit is. This is what I need to set my target at if I want to make this percentage on my credit or this percentage on my risk. So there are a lot of different ways doing this. So we appreciate everybody being here and watching the presentation. If you have any other questions, this is your chance to get them answered right away live on the air. Otherwise, write down the phone number that you have on the screen, 904-706-3537, so that you have a way to get your questions answered after we close out the webinar. Let's see what we have in the chat. Okay, so we have somebody just joined, said, I just joined. I want to make sure I don't miss the opportunity to get into the live training. So what you should be able to do is once you get into the members area, and I'm going to pull it up right now so we can see exactly what it looks like. Once you get into the members area, there should be a daily profit play alerts section. And then when you go in there, let's see, there should be a link to the class that's coming up. Let's see. Let me see if it's in here. Live masterclass, trade tracker, daily profit indicator, video course, trade runes, and live sessions. Let's see what we have in here. I don't actually see it. It will go out for sure on his Telegram. So as long as you're a member of Chris's Telegram, well, it's going to be for members only. Let me see where that, give me a second here, and let me see where that class is posted. Let me just do that real quick while you're all still here. Give me just a second. Let's ask Deanna. All right, give me just a minute to do that. What do you need to look for on Telegram to find Chris? Oh, let me give everybody the link to Chris's Telegram. I'm going to put that in the general chat. Give me 1 second. I'll post that. So this is Chris's general Telegram. And I believe it'll be posted in there. I mean, you should definitely, if you're going to be a member of his programs, definitely have that. There may be a separate one for daily profits. I'm not entirely sure. Let me see. Actually, I don't think there is a separate one. I think that's the only one. I think that's the same one for daily profits. But let me look real quick. No, there is a separate one for daily profit alerts because you have to be a member to get that one. So the daily profit alerts one is in the members area for sure. So you're going to want to go in there and get his Telegram for specifically for daily profit alerts, and that's in the members area. So do that to make sure that you get notified of everything DPA related, but that should all be in the members area under daily profit alerts. As far as the class today, we don't have the link yet. I know it's only an hour and 5 minutes away, but they don't have the link together yet. You will get an alert as long as you're part of the DPA Telegram. You'll get an alert. So make sure you get into the members area and get the Telegram channel for daily profit alerts. I can't give it out here in the chat because it's only for members only, but that will make sure that you get it. And you should get an email as well if you're a member of daily profit alerts. So that is the answer to those questions regarding today. Okay, so question here is daily profits an iron condor play? So typically it is. It could also be a reverse iron condor. So a standard iron condor says it's going to stay within a certain range, and a reverse iron condor says we're betting on it going outside that range. So it has to go above or below the lines instead of stay between the lines. But it's usually one of those or the other. It's usually, and some brokers just call them iron condors the same either way. And some will call it like a long iron condor, some will call it a short iron condor, but like it's basically an iron condor or a reverse iron condor. It's either in the box or outside the box. But that is generally how he's playing that, yes. He doesn't like to call them iron condors for some reason. Chris hates the silly names they give all these different types of trades. So he doesn't generally call it that, but that is what it is. All right, I think we answered all the other questions. I'll give everybody another minute. Let me see what we have here. All right. I think that is everything. We're going to go ahead and close this out. We'll be back in about 3.5 hours for closing playbook. But in the meantime, if you join Daily Profit Alerts, you should be looking for a class to start at 1 p.m. And that'll be a deep dive into the program, how to use it, how the trades are formulated, how to enter them into your broker account, and all that kind of good stuff. So definitely look out for that if you join. All right, we'll see you back here in about 3.5 hours for closing playbook. And I believe Graham will be doing a deep look into the new Apex software that is coming out for his class tomorrow. So all kinds of exciting stuff happening this week. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.